Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, well. Hey Wes, how's it going? I got booted off. I had to restart the stream. Can you hear me now? Alright, well, we're back in the green. I don't know for how long. At least we're there. See if I can get me back up on the laptop here. Well, that's not it. What the hell? There we go. Okay. Alrighty, loud and clear here. Well, that's cool. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties. Well, I don't know if it was the internet or if it was YouTube. It's hard saying, you know. But we're back. Better keep it on trains, I guess. Not talk about politics, because that kind of came back and bit me in the behind. I don't know if everybody else will be able to find me or not. I'm sure they will. I don't know. It's craziness, man. So, anyway, that's what I've been doing. Like I said, the syrup car has really been kind of pissing me off. Hey, Jerry, there you are. Don't let them silence you. Well, unfortunately, I have no control over that. But like I said, at some point, I'm just going to go over to Rumble. That's all there is to it. You know, I'm not going to have a choice. Yeah, I could probably do. Well, it'd be kind of a pain in the ass. I could do it like Tom's doing it. Do the train stuff, say the first hour or so. And then go over to Rumble to do the other stuff. But unfortunately, and I've seen this even with Tom, he's not getting as many people on Rumble as he gets on YouTube. So that may be unfortunately a trade-off I may have to deal with. It would be a lot simpler if YouTube would just get their act together, but you know they're not going to. So hopefully this new style on here is going to work better. Hopefully. We'll find out. I won't know until tomorrow because this is, I don't know how much longer I've got to print this one here. Oh, it looks like it's close to done. Let me switch over here and show you. Yeah, it's almost probably within, say, a half an hour of finishing. But then I got to drill the holes, mount the trucks, drill a hole for the coupler, mount the coupler. I'm not going to get it done today. But tomorrow sometime I'll get it. Maybe that'll be a good short I can do testing it. And then completing it from that point on, if it works good. So we'll see. Fingers crossed on that one. But that's my latest one. Now I said, then I think I'm going to do that international tractor crawler thingy next. Well, it probably would have been if it didn't have this plate here. That might be a little rough on the poor girl, isn't it? But, yeah, otherwise it could be a marital aid. Hey, Rick's River Raising Trains, how's it going? You're probably right, Rick. I think at some point people just aren't going to have a choice, you know. I see more and more people are going to be going over to Rumble. I just see it, you know. And it's nobody's fault but YouTube's. That's all I can say. You know, if this is the way they want to play it, then it's the way it's going to go. Yeah, marital aid, I believe, yeah. A little small also. Well, there's some women that like the small one. You know, I think Japanese men, they're about this size. Maybe not even. I heard that they're like 4 inches thereabouts and not very big in diameter. So I'm told. Don't know that much about it. Hey, what can I say, right? But, here now we're in the green. No drop frames. Everything is running beautifully. So I don't know. It could have been a glitch on the internet, but I don't know if it is. It seems a little coincidental, you know what I'm saying? And as Gerald or one of you guys pointed out, the AI, who knows what its limitations are, if there are any at all, you know. And, you know, sure, I'm sure they'd get a kick out of it. Why not? Hey, Corey, you made it in. There you go. So, anyway, I still got other things I got to work on here too. I got so much to do, but I actually made some progress this last week. I really did. I kind of said, you know what? Quit screwing around. Let's get this thing going and get it done. Hey, Ken Amos Jr., how you doing? Good to see you here. Yeah, for you guys who weren't here earlier, my original stream today was. Well, I got booted off, sort of. I don't know if it was an internet issue or a Comcast issue or a YouTube issue. I like to think it's a YouTube issue because we were talking about things we probably shouldn't have been. So I had to restart the stream, and here we are, and there's only a handful of you here so far, but hopefully the rest will follow. Mostly been talking about, mostly train stuff, but then I got kind of into a rant, and that's when it all went to hell. So, we're back on the train stuff again. Yeah, it's a safe subject, it seems like. Another thing I gotta get cracking on, the only thing that, you know, this, DJT, I'm not gonna even say his name, the DJT passenger car, you know, this one here. The only thing I got left to do on this is the lighting circuit. Now the lights are in the top of the body. I've got everything decorated in here so far. I just got to put the electronics in on this end here. And that's my biggest thing, is I'm going to have to, because I'm using a 12-volt LED strip, I'm going to have to build a keep alive circuit that can handle 12 volts. Because the super capacitors I have are only good for 3 volts. So, but you can, I guess, put them in series or something that you could build it up to 12 volts and be able to use it that way. I'm not so sure. It could have been, Rick, but who knows, you know? Like I said, the problem is it was very coincidental. But, and I'm not a big fan of coincidence, so who knows? Yes, rant is more fun, that's true. Red hats, there you go. Raymond Anthony, hey, how's it going? Good to see you here. Like I said, I have a Rumble channel. I have 2 actually. I have one for the trains, Shortline Thursday, which I'm not actually using at the moment, but it's there, waiting to be used. And I also have one for my Wise Guy videos, which are more of a political nature, politically incorrect nature. So I like Rumble, and there's still some things about it I don't like. I'm hoping they will get them straightened out. I'm sure they will soon. I think Tom said last week that the code, for lack of a better term, that you have to type in the OBS or whatever setup you're using the live stream, it was rotational before. Now they've got a fixed code. So once you get your code, you just keep that code and reuse it every time you do a live stream. YouTube does the same thing. But before it was, you know, every time you wanted to go live on Rumble, you had to get a new code, which is a real pain in the ass. So that's one thing they got straightened up, which is good. And eventually they will get the rest of it. Ken says, hey Jim, got confirmation my Cobra 2 Pro printer and M5S printer be here. Oh, you bought 2. You bought both the resin and a filament printer, huh? Cool. Yeah, you'll like the Cobra 2. It's actually better than my Viper, so I'm told. I saw a, it was a different name. What the hell? I can't remember what it was called now, but it's a resin printer. It was a small one, 4K. I guess the 4K is kind of important. It was a, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was on, damn it, well, I'm losing my mind here. It was on Amazon, and it was $149. And I said, that's what I'm looking for. No, it was cheaper than that. It was $99, excuse me. And I said, for $99, I'll take a chance. I don't need anything fancy. Matter of fact, I'm not going to use it that much. I'm just going to print small things that I can't print on the filament printer. So, but I'm trying to save money where I can here and there, because you can get into some serious money on a resin printer if you have it, you know. I don't have it. Rick says, I was getting some issues here with Comcast. Okay, well, I could have been. You never know. I can't say one way or the other, you know. I did look at the speeds. My upload speed went to shit real quick, and apparently it came back up, because I checked it before I went live, and it was good. Well, for me anyway. So maybe it was. Who knows? You're right, Ray. Shorts are taking over YouTube. Probably because they're probably making more money on it with less bandwidth, you know. Who knows? No, I still haven't done that, Gerald, but I will. You know, as soon as I get the lighting done, I'm ready to button it up, I'll do a quickie and get them some red hats. Hey, there's Curtis, CNL Lines. How you doing? Yeah, we're on our second stream. The first one collapsed. I got booted off somehow, and I had to restart, so... No, it's not a Photon S, unless that's what you're getting, but... Now, this one was a, it's not a bit, Vox Labs, I think? VOXELABS. I think that's what it was. And real cheap. I figured, you know what? That's what I'm looking for. I don't want anything fancy or expensive. because I'm not going to get much use out of it. I still do most of my printing on the Viper, so. Hey, Chasco, how's it going? Good to see you. Of course, Jim, you can actually make okay money selling detail parts on Etsy. Shapeways is a ripoff. I've looked at some of their stuff and I'm going, you got to be kidding me, you know. And that's the thing, you can make, if it costs me a nickel to make something, I could sell it for a quarter. I'm making money. Am I going to get rich? No. But I'm not looking to get rich, you know. Now, Shapeways would take that same 5-cent piece of thing that they printed and sell it for $5 or $10. That's a ripoff, you know. They're taking advantage of people is all they're doing. But in a way, though, they're digging their own grave, too, because eventually what's going to happen is more and more people are going to buy printers. They say, well, I need these things, but I'm not paying ridiculous money for somebody else to make it. I'll just buy my own damn printer and make it myself. It's not hard. There's a little bit of a learning curve with it, but and once you figure that out, the sky's the limit, really, you know. I don't think it could have been YouTube, Curtis. It could have been Comcast too. I don't know. We were talking about, you know, some political stuff on the rant, and it just started. I went into the red, and eventually it just kicked me off, and I had to restart it. So I don't know. It could have been Comcast, but very coincidental. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to try and stick to train talk here for the rest of the duration here. Ray says, I blame TikTok for, yeah, that's possible too. TikTok is as far as I'm concerned, we should have banned it, you know. And I'm not big for banning things, but, you know, the problem is, you know, it's Chinese anyway, but I think the Chinese figured out that Americans are basically stupid. Some of them, most of them, I don't know. You know, getting kids to eat Tide Pods, that was a TikTok challenge. What kind of a bonehead would eat a chemical for washing clothes? You know, I mean, you gotta admit, that's pretty damn stupid. You know, I wouldn't do it for money, let alone on a challenge, you know. You dare me to do something, if it won't hurt me, I might do it. But if I know it's going to hurt me, it's like, no, I don't think so, idiot, you know. Hey, Russ. Comtrash, there you go. It's not Comcastic, I can tell you that. I remember when they were doing that one. It's Comcastic. Not really. Curtis says, sounds like the devs are up to their shit. They could be, I don't know. You know, we were talking about that they're using AI now to monitor everything. So it's going to be really tough to, you know, get around it. Russ says TikTok is a change. Well, it is, you know. But they're also, I think they're also trying to see just how stupid or gullible, at the very least, that Americans are. And so far, it ain't looking good for us. Here, hold my beer. Yeah, there you go. I love that one. Of course, the fabric softener and stool softener aren't the same thing. No, they're not. Of course, neither is toothpaste and preparation H, so, you know. But that's been mixed up many a time. Ken says, just thinning the herd, Jim, if dumb enough to do things like that, then, well, that's true. I say the same thing. You know, enough of this warning shit. You know, stupid labels. And if you're that stupid, let nature take its course, right? The natural order of things. You know, only the strong survive. I think, I mean, yeah, it's kind of cruel in a way, but you know, here's the problem. I'm sure I could say this and get away with it, but if you get two stupid people, a man and a woman, they procreate and produce a child. That child's not going to be a genius, okay? It's statistically impossible for that to happen. chances are the kid will be as dumb, if not dumber, than the two parents. And so the problem we have today is there's no selective breeding, you know. And I've talked about this on my Wise Guy videos before, that the problem is, back in the day, like in the 50s, for example, I think it pretty well went to hell in the 60s with the whole hippie movement, but prior to that, men and women had standards, you know. A man looked for a woman who would be a good housewife, a good mother, somebody to bring up their children properly, you know, was responsible in the household. Men wanted that. I mean, yeah, they wanted a whore too, but, you know, hopefully you got that along with the rest of the package. And the women, on the other hand, wanted a man who was strong, who could support the family, who would stand up for the family, who would give his life for the family if necessary, you know. So the women looked for intelligent, strong men, and the men looked for intelligent, responsible, and sexy women, you know. Today, it don't matter. Everybody fucks everybody. You know? Don't matter how stupid or ugly or anything else. Same thing. You get two ugly people procreate, you're not producing a beautiful baby. It's not going to happen. And Gerald says new dads get greasy teeth quite often. I'm not sure what that means, but I'll leave it at that. Corey says, Russ, that stool softener does nothing for the wrinkles in my shirts. I guess it wouldn't. That's true, Rick. You cannot fix it. Well, you can, but it's not legal. There's only one way to fix stupid, and you go to prison for that, maybe even get the death sentence. Unfortunately. Gerald says, don't fuck your sister without protection. Well, there's a lot of that going around, too. I know what I see on the news the other day, MSN, they interviewed the most incestuous family, like, ever. I don't know who they were, whatever, but they didn't look right. Actually, they barked at each other like dogs, and that's how they communicated. And this is what happens when you know, don't stray outside your family line. It's not good. Russ says it'll make you buy more short skirt, Corey, yeah, that's funny. So, but this is the basic problem today, you know. When we were kids, you guys, come on, you're all my age, a little older, maybe even a little younger, but you're still my generation, okay? We did a lot of stupid things growing up. I mean, I did, you know. I lived through it, obviously, or I wouldn't be here today. But they were stupid things, but they weren't suicidal things, you know. Today, these kids are doing suicidal things, you know. Let's drink gasoline and see what happens. Let's swallow a Tide Pod, see what happens, you know. And they got all these weird shit that they're ingesting or putting on or in their bodies, and it's like, are you stupid? You know. We didn't do those things because we had brains, you know. Come on, we grew up through violent cartoons, you know. The Coyote and the Roadrunner. Well, I can't remember half of them now, but Yosemite Sam. All them cartoons are all about Three Stooges, you know. We grew up and we were fine. If we showed that shit to kids today, they'd all be dead inside of a month. Because they'd be too dumb not to know you don't do that shit in real life, you know. And it's because of poor breeding habits. I know it sounds bad, but it's true. Corey says family trees aren't supposed to look like telephone poles. Good point. Gerald says diaper rash cream next to tooth. Oh, yeah, okay, greasy teeth. Yeah, well, see, we never kept it. When I was bringing my kids up, we never kept that stuff in the medicine cabinet. It was kept in a separate place, you know, that we knew was baby stuff. Because somebody, whether it be me, the wife, or the kids, would ultimately take the wrong thing. And that could be, you know, lethal or make you very sick at the very least. Back now, Marvin the Martian. Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty funny. Although they cleaned it up, though, you know, because they're not allowed to show any kind of violent stuff on her because the kids, you know, oh, we got to try that, you know. Like I said, you know, when the coyote fall off a cliff or strap on a rocket or something, go off the cliff and wind up, you know, hitting the bank. I'm sure, you know, in real life he would have died, of course, but these kids today would probably do something that stupid. Let's see if I can fly. You know. We weren't that stupid. You know, we did stupid things, but they weren't deadly stupid things. You know. And I see some dumb shit, but, you know. But most of the people I know didn't die because, you know, they had a little smarter than that. Unfortunately, today it's a little different. Russ said the Dems outnumber all the other dumb people. That's true, they do. You know. Well, because they're progressive. I don't know what progressive actually means, but it means stupid, apparently, in another language. Hey, John Nippenberg. How's it going, John? Good to see you here, man. Russ says, hey, John, we're talking about inappropriate procreation. Poor breeding habits, that's what it's called. Corey says, Wild E. Coyote is my spirit animal. There you go. Didn't they have a cartoon? I don't think it went over real well, but at once, like near the end of the cartoon, didn't the coyote actually get the Roadrunner? I'm pretty sure I saw that. I might have been fantasizing or something. I don't remember, but I could have sworn that there was one episode where the coyote finally gets the Roadrunner. Because that was the thing. You watch every week, it's like, damn, that fucking coyote ever going to get that bird or not? You know? That was bad. Yeah, there you go. Rick says kids would paint a tunnel portal on a mountain thinking it will work. Yeah, well, you know. Hey, it's on TV. Must be real, right? I'm telling you what. Yeah, I know. All you'd see was a puff of dust when he hit the ground. And then the other one, he was falling down. He was on a big boulder. And as it's going down, it slowly goes under. And he's standing on the bottom of the boulder. It hits the ground and he'd be like this thick, you know. Funny shit. Yeah. But, you know, we knew the difference, you know. As I said, we got in fights when we were kids. We didn't kill anybody. You know, today the kids fight with, if in fact they actually still fight with their hands. You know, they get the advantage. They'll kill the little son of a bitch. You know. I mean, you get hit hard enough times, you will die. Whether you're a kid or not. We knew enough to stop when we saw blood. You know. All right, he's had enough. You know, he's got a black eye, a bloody nose, and a fat lip. He's got his ass kicked, so he can move on. Today, it's like, oh no, he's not, oh, not down on me. They keep on kicking him and beating him and smashing him with shit until the fucker's dead. Because these idiots don't know when to stop. You know. And once again, that's part of it's poor breeding habits. The other part, of course, is poor upbringing. You know. Corey says, Rick, my buddy sent me a meme about that. I'm sure. Joe said, jumped out of a hayloft with an umbrella, broke my arm. Oh, you didn't do that twice, did you? You know, did you really think that would work? I mean, I remember I was 8 years old. We were still up north in New Jersey. My dad, his house was 2 stories, you know, with a tall roof on it, so it had an access to get up on top of the roof from the attic. So I probably should be careful about talking about this, but because today that would not be acceptable. But he says he grabbed the stray cat. Didn't hurt the cat, but he grabbed the stray cat, made a parachute out of a bed sheet and some strings, some twine. Went up to the fucker off the roof. That cat landed gently. I mean, the parachute worked perfectly. If you did it today, you'd probably go to jail for animal cruelty or something. But you know. But we were smart enough to know that we couldn't do that, you know, because he'd look at, you know, don't do this. Yeah, it's one thing to throw a 4-pound cat off the roof, but, you know, a 60-pound person probably not going to work too well. So we didn't even try, but, you know, it was kind of cool, though. I remember it, you know. Hey, Derek Alexander, how you doing, Derek? Good to see you here. John says, if your family tree is a straight line, that's not good. Probably not. Of course, I'm going to search for that. That's a parish. I guess it was a common thing they used to do back in the day, you know. Our parents as kids, they were more bored than we were, you know. Yeah. Les says, yes, they did, but he didn't know what to do with it. Could be. Justin, remember when kids would jump off the roof with an umbrella thinking it was a parachute? I never saw it. I mean, like I said, the smart move would have been the sheet, you know, and the strings, because it was actually a parachute, but you really didn't have enough height for it to fully deploy and really slow you down. By the time it opened up and started to work, you'd probably be on the ground with a couple of broken legs, you know. That was the way I figured. Anyway, that would have been something cool to try, like off a bridge, you know, where there's water below, so if something did go wrong, at least you'd land in the water and probably not get hurt. I would think. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't do that either, but I can't swim, so I love the water. I love the boat, but I can't swim, so I never let that stop me, though, you know. I went out in boats all the time. I used to rent a boat every year back in the day, go cruise around 1,000 islands out off of Marco Island, you know, down the other end, on the other side of Florida, but had a lot of fun. Let's see what else we got going. I'm way behind here in the chat. What happened there? Russ says, I did some incredibly dumb stuff. Well, we all did, you know. But we lived through it because we were smart about it, you know. Yeah, nowadays they just shoot each other. Well, that's another thing, too, you know. I had a couple of times in school, two instances where a kid pulled a knife on me. It was a little knife, like a little pen knife, and I took it away from him and, you know, held it to his neck and said, you know, if you're going to pull a weapon on me, you should probably make sure you know how to use it, because this isn't going to end well for you if I decide to. I couldn't have hurt him with that little knife anyway, but he didn't know that. Poor kid was crying and everything. And another kid pulled a steak knife on me in my backyard, and I kicked it out of his hand, and he just stood there stunned. He's just like, what happened? I just don't ever pull a weapon on me, because I'll use it on you. You will die. You know, I wouldn't have, but he didn't know that. Let's see. Corey says, we'd beat the hell out of each other after school over a dumb broad, and then a few years later laugh about, oh yeah, that's the way it was. A lot of times you became friends with, you know, people you fought with, because it was normal. It was like a rite of passage, you know. Before us, like back in the 40s and probably early 50s all the way back, if you were in school and got in a fight, the coach, he'd bring you into the physical ed class, put you in the boxing ring, put the gloves on you, let you guys duke it out. And whoever won, that was it, and then you shook and you make up and you were best friends for life. That was real, you know. But now they don't, well, you know, we have zero tolerance for fighting. Well, that ain't working, because sometimes you really do need to fight, you know. Is it a good thing? No. But it's a necessary thing, you know. And when I was brought up, it was a little different up north where I came from, because we were a little more refined, I guess, for lack of a better term. But I was taught to always walk away from a fight. Don't engage, don't fight back, don't egg it on, just walk away, you know. And we moved down here, and I was getting my ass kicked on a daily basis because I wouldn't fight back. Well, it took about almost a year of that shit, and I said, you know, this ain't working. You know what the definition of insanity is, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, that was definitely the definition of insanity. So the next guy that picked a fight with me, I beat the hell out of him. And then all of a sudden, nobody wanted to bother me anymore because I wasn't an easy target anymore. They were fighting me because they just wanted to take it out on somebody. Were they bullies? I don't know. That term really didn't exist back then. Not like it does today, you know. But they were kids that they just wanted to take their frustrations out on anybody. They'd pick the smallest guy, kid actually, you know, beat him up a little bit and, you know, do the same thing in the next day and everybody take their turn. Well, once you start fighting back, it was a different deal now. Well, this guy's fighting his back. Not only is he fighting back, but he's winning. You know. And after a while, they quit. I mean, nobody would bother me anymore. You know. So what I was taught growing up was bad advice to walk away. There are times when you really can't walk away. But thank God, back in those days, nobody used weapons, you know. Mostly it was your fist or your feet, you know. The way it should be. Yeah, I had those too. Well, not the Roman candles, the bottle rocket fights. It's the matchstick fights too. And I had a 10 by 10 shutout back of the house when I was a kid. I lived in, sort of, you know, because I liked being alone out there. And so I had my bed and TV and all that stuff. But every now and then my friends would come over and we'd flip up the bed, put it in the middle, you know, on its end, and we'd flick matches at each other. Yeah, didn't get hurt really, but it was probably stupid, but we had fun. Those were the days. Played with lawn darts as teams, not smart, still have a scar on my back. I had a set of those, and I never got hurt with them, thank God. I think I only played with them once. We used to, well, you guys that are up north probably remember block parties, you know. We had a block party at our house, and my dad bought these things, I guess, at a flea market or something, just lawn darts. And he says, here, try these out, but be careful with them, you know. So we're throwing them, you know. I mean, we were smart enough not to throw them at anybody, but you had to be careful because somebody got in the way. You could seriously hurt with them things. And that was the first and last time I ever played with them. He probably figured, my mother probably got on his shit and said, these guys are going to get hurt with these. You got to get rid of these things, you know. So we played horseshoes instead. Just as dangerous if you got hit with one, but your odds were better. Hey, Mom and Son Train Rail fans. Hey, Tammy and Ray, how's it going? Good to see you. Oh, of course we had a good day. Every day's a good day. Any day you wake up on above the ground is a good day. Yeah, we had BB gun fights too, Russ. Of course, you know, they were the pump guns. I mean, you could, if you pumped up enough, you could actually hurt somebody with them, but usually just one or two pumps and pain, you know, you feel it, but it wouldn't penetrate your skin. And the rule was always below the neck, never shot, you know, in the face. So they said we had better brains than most people did. Anyone ever threw a cat in the swimming pool? Yes, I did that a couple of times, actually. Funny thing about cats is, okay, and I like cats, so I'm not an animal abuser or anything like that, but we used to do things when we were kids, you know. But if you throw a cat and face it toward where you threw it in, like if you're on a lake, for example, and you throw a cat in a lake and face it toward the bank, it will turn around and swim out to sea. Actually, I had a friend that had that happen. He threw the cat in there. He threw it in so it would find its way back. It turned around and we never seen it again. And I'm sure it died, unfortunately. But yeah, cats, they generally don't see the humor in any of that stuff, though, unfortunately. You know. Gerald says, okay, guys, clean up Tabby's in the chat. There you go. Reiterates it, right? You know what we used to do with cats? If you take clothespins, the ones that open and close, you know, not the fixed ones, but the ones with the spring in them, if you put them on the cat's fur, not on the skin, just on the fur, a bunch of them, set the cat down. As soon as it moves, it'll freak out. and it'll run, and as it runs, the clothespins will fly off. Doesn't hurt the cat, you know, scares the shit out of it, but other than that, you know, we used to do that a lot too. Or put tin foil on the cat's paws on a linoleum floor. It doesn't do too well. So, but we were terrible. We don't do that anymore, of course, but, you know. Like I said, we never hurt any animals, you know. That would not be acceptable. But we used to have fun with them. Dave says, rock fights with kids down the alley, run home and hide if we actually hit somebody. Yeah. We didn't do rocks because that was a big no-no. My neighbor got into a rock fight with some friends. And he got hurt pretty good. He caught one of his forehead, you know, cut his forehead open, and it was not good. So we didn't do that. Yeah, John, I remember snowball fights up north turned into ice ball fights in an ice-covered rock. We never went that far. We used snowballs, you know, and nobody ever got hurt, thank God. Let's see. So never threw any in the water, but pulled a sack of kittens from the creek. Well, that was cool. I found a box of kittens once out in the woods with me and my first wife. We used to target practice in the woods, you know, once or twice a week, and we were shooting at things, you know, targets. And she was getting ready to shoot at a box, right? And I go, hold on, the box is moving. She was, what's in it? I said, well, let's go find out, you know. So I carefully opened the box, and you never know. Could have been a snake. There were like 8 kittens in there, son of a bitch. So we turned them over to, you know, animal control, and I'm sure they adopted them out. But yeah, she was almost ready to shoot the box, which wouldn't have been good because we were, you know, only shooting 22, but a 22 will kill most animals. Yeah, I can't believe that somebody actually boxed up cats like that and threw them out in the weeds. What the hell's wrong with these people? Curtis says we would go in the garage and yeah, I hear you. Russ says when we fought back then. That's true. Kids today don't know when to stop, you know, until somebody's dead, and that's not good. Curtis says, it's BB guns at each other. Yeah, I said we did that too, but nobody got hurt, thank God. We had rules though. We shot below the neck. Of course, got a couple of cross shots once. That did not feel good. Ray said, I never did, but I've come across some videos of those who threw cats in swimming pools. Yeah, I'm sure it was a past. There was a lot of stupid shit that I saw other people do that I didn't do. And that was really cruel because usually the cats died. But they tied the tails together with some rope, throw them over a clothesline. Cats would fight to the death, you know. That shit ain't right. But Dave said, always heard the BBDI warnings. Well, I wore glasses, so I wasn't too worried about that, but, you know. Gerald says, future men need to learn that fighting hurt. Well, of course they do. You know, my oldest son, the one that's not dead now, he's gone, but when he was 2 years old, he thought he was a tough guy, you know. I didn't bring him up that way. I taught my kids to defend themselves, but that was it. If you start a fight, you're going to be in big trouble. If you're finishing a fight, that's a whole different deal. But anyway, we were visiting my sister, and she had her son who was a little bit older than mine. I think by like a year or two. Wasn't much, but just a little bit. And of course, he was a little taller. But my son started pissing him off and messing with him. And, you know, my sister goes, you going to brash? No, I'm going to let him fight it out. I said, my son needs to learn that he can't do that shit without paying a price, you know. I said, if it gets bad, I'll stop it. But a few fists fly, let him do it. So that's what happened. Her son got pissed off, clocked my son right in the nose. My son burst and started screaming and crying. I said, well, you know, this is what happens when you start a fight. Well, Dad, he made me mad. Yeah, I don't care how mad he made you. You know, you don't fuck with any. Well, I didn't say fight. You don't mess with anybody that's bigger than you that you know can beat you. And you never start a fight ever. You finish fights. So I said, I hope you learned something out of this. And it really did temper him a lot. He needed to know that he could get hurt because prior to that, he was winning every fight he got into. You know, I think he was older. I think he was 3 or 4. I don't think he was quite 2, but he needed to find out. I think every kid needs to find out because you know, until you get hurt, you don't really know that you can. You know, and everybody thinks they're invincible and immortal and everything else until eventually one day they find out, well, that's not exactly the way it works. So, you know, like I said, I oversaw it, make sure nobody would hurt themselves badly. But it's important sometimes to just let them duke it out, you know. Same thing with animals. If you got 2 dogs in the house and one is trying to assert its authority because it may be the first dog in the house, whatever, you have to let it establish the pecking order, chain of command. It just, if you don't, you will cause more problems than you'll solve. I mean, if it gets bad, you have to break it up. But usually it never gets to that point because dogs, believe it or not, are much smarter than people are. So, you know. Derek says, Raymond, good cover. Most people just threw cats up in there to see if they landed on her. Yeah, we all did that. And they do, in fact, land on their feet. Unless you tape their tail to their back, then they will not land on their feet. Because they actually use their tail as a balance. I didn't know that. One of my friends demonstrated it. And I thought that was kind of cruel too, but it didn't hurt the cat, but it wasn't really right. Of course, my dad had to have glass removed from his eye because of a BB gun. Yeah, because back in the day, even I had glass lenses. And there's a good probability if I'd have got hit in the eye, it would have broke the lens. That was before they got the unbreakable lenses. But they were pretty stout too, so yeah. Thunderbolt 1000 AT, how you doing? You're a newbie here, I think. I don't think I've seen you before. Anyway, welcome to the channel, and here we talk mostly about trains, but then some other things too. Well, we have to be careful what we talk about now because, you know, we don't want to piss off the brass at YouTube. So there's certain things we can't talk about. Let's see, what's he said there? Do you have anything from an Oklahoma Shortline railroad like Farm Rail, Wichita, Tillman, and Jackson? Nope, I'm not familiar with any of that stuff, Thunderbolt, but if you're looking for me to print something like that, if you have photographs that are somewhat detailed, I may be able to print something for you. So I can't guarantee it, but I would definitely take a shot at it. Raymond says, I'm mildly allergic to cats, so not me. There you go. Unfortunately, I'm not allergic to anything. We have 3 cats here. 2 rabbits, 2 birds, 3 dogs. And all but 1 cat is indoor. One of the cats is an outdoor cat, but everything else is in there. Oh, plus we have a shitload of chickens. I think we got 35 chickens. They're not in the house, of course, but, you know, they're outside in coops. So, yeah, we kind of into animals here, you know, a little bit. Chris Ruggieri, how's it going, Chris? Good to see you. Corey said that's one way to get up. I would imagine. It's bad, but funny. Dave says hold them upside down and then drop. Well, I said if their tail is free, they will automatically rotate and drop down. But they use their tail as a form of balance. I don't know how it works, but if you like tape their tail down to their back, they won't land on their feet unless you actually drop them in the proper orientation. Cats are good swimmers. They just hate water. Some of them do. I had a cat back in Naples some years back, Gracie, she was abandoned by her mother, where my wife worked at the time at Ace Hardware. So my wife, being the animal lover she is, brought the kitten home. The kitten was newborn. I mean, it was literally like a day or two old. So I had to get the cat's digestive system to work and all that. It's just, you look it up. I'm not going to get into detail, but the mother usually does that, but there wasn't no mother, so if I didn't do it, the cat would have died. So I did all that, and I guess the cat really thought I was its mother. And it was the weirdest thing. She was terrified of outside. She would not leave the house, all right, unless she was on me. I remember taking her to the vet for her shots, and she sat right here, like a baby. And I walked in the thing, and the vet goes, "Your cat must really trust you." I said, "Why is that?" He says, "Because cats don't usually do that." I said, "Well, I've kind of been her mom since day one. She was abandoned by her mother. My wife picked her up, and, we did everything we needed to do. And I guess she does trust me. She's terrified of outside." I says, "I'm not even worried about any of the dogs care anything. She will stay right on my shoulder." And she did, too. She would not leave my shoulder, Damn this thing. It is what it is. See, Mom was not an angel growing up. I grew up with two older brothers. They used me as a test dummy. They put me in a tire and rolled me down the hill. We didn't have any hills like that, but I've heard of that being done. That must have really sucked, I would imagine. There goes birds, targets. Well, I've hunted quail before. I ate them. A friend of mine, he says, "You ever hunt quail?" I said, "No, I've never hunted anything." He says, "I got two shotguns. I got a 12 gauge and a 410. Which you want?" So I was like 15 at the time. I said, "Yeah, I'll take the 410 because I never shot a 12 gauge, and I always heard stories where it'll kick you off your ass." I said, "Yeah, I'll just take the 410. So we went out in the woods, and we caught us about 20 or 25 quail. It was quite a bit. They're tiny birds, He took them home, he cleaned them, and I ate some of them. You had to eat like 5 of them. Would be somewhat considered a meal. And I have no problem with eating anything or hunting or killing anything that I'm going to eat. I would never hunt for sport. But I will hunt for defense, and I'll hunt for food. That I'm okay with. Ken says, "That's painful, Tammy. Glad you survived." Probably got you pretty damn dizzy, though, didn't it? Derek says, "Tammy, it's like crash landing. It's not the falling or rolling that gets you. It's the sudden stop." That's true. Tammy says, "They also put me on a sled and pushed me down the snow hill and would call my name as going under a picnic table. That's why I'm a tough cookie." There you go. Now, we used to take our sleds, every Christmas or Christmas time when there was a lot of snow around, up where my uncle lived in East Orange, New Jersey. They had a big hill. It was probably about 4 stories tall. And that's what everybody would go sledding there. I mean, toboggans, sleds, trash can lids, anything that you can hold on to that would, let you slide. And we had a lot of fun there. I miss those days. Russ says, "Box found in the woods, that is cruel. How hard is it to put an ad?" I know, it's just, the thing is, at the time, the animal, well, it's not animal control, it was the, I can't remember what the hell the name of animal adoption place, but they had a drop box out front. So you could just go there when they were closed, like on the weekend, put the animals in there and walk away, and there were no cameras or anything. They didn't know who gave them, but they would take them in and take care of them. So I would do that before I'd put them in a damn box or a bag and dump them out in the woods, that's bullshit, but there are people out there like that, unfortunately, It's a shame, but my ex-wife used to tell me there's a special place in hell for people who abuse animals. I'm sure there is, you know. Yeah. Corey says, I agree, Russ. Know a few folks that rescued their future pets because of, oh, absolutely, you know. I mean, all my animals are rescues anyway because I can't afford to buy dogs. I go to the shelters with the pounds and get them. Yeah, I got Pogo. He was just a pup. He was only, I think, maybe 8 or 9 weeks old. He wasn't very old. He was younger than they said he was. But my wife went down to Naples with her daughter, and I guess they decided to stop at the animal shelter. And she calls me up and she says, there's a dog down here you're going to want. And I'm going, well, we just lost Buddy. You know, we had to put him down because he had cancer. And he was suffering badly. So I wanted another dog, but I wasn't sure, you know, about getting one that quick. So she took a picture of the dog, sent it back to me, and I said, you better get that dog. I said, what do they want for it? She says, well, there's a special today. They're $10. Are you kidding me? Hell, I paid $75 for Buddy at the same place 10 years prior, you know, or 11 years, something like that. But, oh, no, he was 12. So 12 years prior, you know, I paid $75 for Buddy. And I thought that was a lot of money, but, you know, I wanted the dog and love the dog, so. So, yeah, $10 you couldn't go wrong. So we had to keep him there overnight because they had to fix him. So my wife came back with her daughter that evening. So the next day, me and my wife, Deb, we went down to Naples to pick the dog up. So, you know, I mean, I read somewhere like I love German Shepherds, you know. I've always had German Shepherds mostly, or at least Shepherd mixes. I think I only had one actual purebred Shepherd, but they're getting like, I heard they're getting $7,000 for a puppy now. $7,000. I think they're fucking minds. You know, I love dogs, but not that much. You know, that's crazy. What the fuck happened to fruit? Well, it's gone. And they're trying to take away the second too, so they're gonna have a tougher time with that though, because I'm not releasing any of mine. I can tell you that right now. Dave says, have some farm rail covered hoppers, micro trains. There you go. Yeah, I'm not even going to repeat that, but you get the idea. Hey, Tom, there you go. Yeah, I had to restart the whole stream again. It's working fine. Go figure. I think that one was doomed. Not so sure. And there's Scott from Waycross. Jim, I left your live stream for a few minutes when I got back and entered. Yeah, I got kicked off. Yeah, there was some weird stuff going on. I was in the red and freezing up, and I don't know what the hell. I think I might have pissed off the wrong people. I don't know. And there's Dave. Hey, Dave, BNSF Scale. Good to see you. There goes Big Jim. That's what Hannibal Lecter said about his girlfriends. Yeah, there you go. Right. Tom says they should find the people that put animals in cages without food and water and put the people in a cage. That's too good for them, actually. I have a better thing that, you know, you can guess what I would do to them. But I have no mercy for people who abuse animals. Because, you know, hey, if you abuse animals, you probably abuse people too. You know, a lot of serial killers started out by killing animals, you know, for fun. I have no regard for anybody like that whatsoever. There's only one solution, and it should be slow and painful. Russ says your train is still plugging along. Nice track work, Joe. Hey, they're doing pretty good. At least the inside track and the outside track, like I said, I have to shut that down here. I have a problem right here, and I've got to fix it because contraction is so great there that I've got a big gap between the two tracks, and every now and then it likes to derail right there. So that's why I'm not running the outside rail today until I get around to fixing it. So that's something I'm gonna have to get cracking on too. Derek says, and I think we should kick them a couple of times too, because I'm sure they kicked the animal a couple of times too. If they didn't know well, they deserve it. There you go. Kicking them's too easy though, man. Yeah, I think a little bit of torture would be appropriate in that respect. Corey says, I second that. I hear you. Well, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's just, there's, unfortunately, my thing stop again. Son of a bitch. This thing drives me nuts. Let me restart it. Give me just 1 minute here. This will be the 4th time I've restarted it. The last couple of times I did it because you guys were watching video and some other things going on there, so I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. It's a real pain in the ass, though. Oh. I think that's it. Let's see what happens. Will it go? It might. Yeah, I know, Tom. I should go to StreamYard, but I just gotta redo things here. Okay, we're back up and running. Like I said, I don't know what the hell's going on with this stuff. Russ says Jim was naughty. I'm always naughty. That's just the way it is. Ray says there needs to be a system where animals... No, they don't need to do that. It's like there shouldn't be a system for sex offenders either. They should simply cease to breathe. You know. I don't understand this, you know. Like, that guy that they just caught, the Mexican guy, I can't remember his name. He's not Mexican, but he's Hispanic. He was on the run for 2 weeks. He killed his ex-girlfriend back in another country. Came over here on an airplane. Nobody knew that there was a warrant for his arrest for murder, you know. And when they finally found out, they picked him up, put him in jail. He escaped somehow. Was on the run for 2 weeks. They just recently caught him. Why are they screwing with this guy? Put one in the back of his head and move on, you know. He doesn't deny that he killed his girlfriend. If you admit to it, do you even need a trial? You know? I'm sorry, I know a lot of people may not agree with me on that, but, you know, sometimes that's the only way to fix things. Same thing with animals. If you kill an animal for no good reason, like torturing it or something like that, you know, domestic animal, you should relinquish your life for it. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. You know? The problem with these things is you can put a label on like sex offenders. All right, so you're labeled a sex offender for life. Basically, it's a life sentence. All right? You can't be around children if you're a pedophile, obviously. You can't be around a school. Well, the problem is none of these people ever stop doing what they're doing. They really don't. The recidivism rate is ridiculous on it. So if they're just going to do it again, it doesn't pay to put them in prison for life because you and I are paying for it, you know. I don't want to pay for some asshole to live a life of luxury in prison, and for them, that's what it is. Prison is a vacation. I don't care what anybody says. I don't want to go there, but there's a lot of people that don't mind being there because, hey, you don't have to work. You don't have to worry about paying your bills or going hungry. If you get sick, they'll fix you right up. You know, even if you're on death row, they'll send. There was a guy some years back. He had cancer, and they told him. They said, "Well, if we don't get him, we don't fix him up here. You know, get him surgery. He's going to die before you can put him in the chair." So they spent $250,000 to get this guy life-saving surgery, so they could kill him 6 months later. You know, bullshit. I got some issues with that. Hey, whether to or not, Harry, how you doing? Good to see you here. So, you know, Ken thinks the way I do. Animal cruelty to me is grounds to shoot them. Animals don't do anything to deserve. No, they don't. And some of these people really just do some fucked up shit, man. You know. If I saw it, I'd be very tempted to kill the person. The only thing probably stopping me from doing it, I would probably go to prison over it. But I would really, really want to kill that son of a bitch. You know. Just because. Same thing if I see somebody commit a serious crime. I just want to kill them. You know, this is a good one, man. Hey, I forgot about this. I was in Walmart about a week ago. Took my wife and my mom. I don't think I told this story. I don't think. Took my wife and my mother-in-law because they like to shop once a month. I don't like really going to Walmart, but they like Walmart, so I take them there because my mother-in-law can't drive anymore. And my wife doesn't like going alone, so I load them up in the car, take them down there. You know, we go to the one in Avon Park because I don't like the one in Sebring. So I got my shopping done first, so I'm in one of the electric carts, you know, that store them. So they got Subway sandwich shopping there. So the deal is when we get done shopping, whoever gets done first waits at the Subway. So I'm sitting there in my chair, turned it off, and sitting there. And there's a greeter, kind of an older guy, right? Greeting people and actually checking the receipts. And he keeps staring at me, right? So I'm thinking, this idiot must think, the only thing I had in my cart that wasn't bad was a bag of dog food, you know. I paid for it, I had the receipt and all. But I guess he figured that I was going to steal the dog food and sneak out the door when he wasn't looking. That son of a bitch would not keep his eyes off me for a good 20 minutes because I had to wait on my wife and my mother-in-law. Right? My wife finally shows up with her cart full of stuff. So I hand her my debit card. I said, "Here, why don't you go to Subway, get us both something to eat? Because you got to be hungry, right? So I'm dying, you know. Get a sandwich, get me a hot ham and cheese, and we'll wait for your mom to get done." So this guy, like I said, and meanwhile, all these people are going in and out the door, you know. The kind of people that would steal, you know, the tattooed freaks, the pierced freaks, you know. A lot of weirdos walking in and out, you know, Walmart, you know how that works, so. This guy would not keep his eyes off me. So finally, my mother-in-law comes up. We finished eating our sandwich. You guys ready to go? She said, "Yeah." All right, let's go. So I get there and ready. "Can I see your receipt, sir?" "Here you go. You thought you got me, didn't you?" "Hey, what do you mean?" I says, "Dude, you've been eyeing me since I've been sitting there waiting for my wife and mother-in-law." I says, "I'm pretty sure you thought I was going to steal this bag of dog food. Meanwhile, how many people walked out the door you didn't bother to check that were tattooed up, had piercings, and dressed weird, had some weird color hair?" And I said, "Those are the people more likely to steal from you, not me. I'm an elderly guy. I'm 63 years old. You know, I'm disabled. I'm really not in a position to shoplift." You know. "Well, I got to check." I said, "But you didn't check anybody else. The people you should have checked, you didn't." "Well, most of their stuff was bagged." "That don't mean shit. I could stick a plastic Walmart bag in my pant pocket, walk in here, load it up, and walk out the door, and you wouldn't bother to check because it was in a bag, even though I stole it." "Well, shit, I didn't think of that." "Well, of course you did, because you're a bonehead." I said, "You're looking at me, the last guy anywhere that would steal anything, you know. Meanwhile, all these other people probably walk out the door with half the damn store." You know? That's what I'm saying. People are stupid. They really are. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. After the guy stole the rifle. Well, the guy that he stole the rifle from took a couple of shots at him and missed, unfortunately. You know, if that had been me, I'd have made sure that son of a bitch would have dropped. And I wouldn't leave a rifle out in the garage anyway. You know, that's kind of stupid. And obviously the garage was open. You know, I mean, yeah, some people just aren't that bright. But no, I figured he would probably have a shootout with the cops and they would just take, that's what I was hoping for, you know. I mean, by this time I'm thinking the cops would have probably just dropped him anyway, just for the aggravation, you know. There he is. Oh yeah, you know, he pointed a gun at us. And, you know, they knew he had a gun. So they could have got away with it, you know. And that would have solved a whole bunch of problems. Yeah, I'm surprised too, Jan. I thought for sure they'd take him out, you know. That's what they should have done. If I'd have been a cop out there, pretty sure I would have done it. You know, that's why I wanted to be a cop, because I go around killing everybody. Must have been a lot of witness, maybe. I don't know. It's a deviant sickness. Yeah, it's something. Well, yeah, like I said, a lot of people, they just don't care. And for those who don't care, they have no redeemable value. I'm sorry, they just don't, you know. And the thing is, you can accidentally kill somebody. Seriously, accidentally. And you will get the chair for it, or the needle, or whatever they're using now. But if you go out and kill 20 or 30 people, they won't put you to death. They'll give you life because they can study you. There's nothing to study. The guy's a whack job. Just put him out, you know. Put him down, move on. We do everything backwards here. I'm telling you, it don't make sense, you know. Scott wants to know what my radius curve on I have two. 28 on the inside lane and 30 on the outside. The overhead is also 30, and leading up to the second level is 30 as well. I had the room for it, so I decided to go with the biggest I can get away with. I probably would have went bigger if I'd had more room. But that was all. I just barely was able to squeeze 30 degrees in. So that's what I mostly did on the outside. Of course, the inside has to be less than the outside, so 28 and 30, that's what I got. Which is a big difference because, unfortunately, on the old way out in Naples, I was running 18 and 24. And I couldn't run anything long on it. It sucked. Walmart rant, oh my. I'm telling you, Walmart bullshit anyway, you know. If they shut that store down, I would probably throw a damn party over it. You know, I don't like Walmart. I never did. And they're expensive. You know, I'm talking about mostly food shopping, not other stuff, but my wife and my mother-in-law go there to buy food, and they say, well, it's cheaper. I said, no, it's not. I said, I'm looking at the food price. I'm going, Winn-Dixie is cheaper. Not by much, but it's still cheaper. And most of the food in Winn-Dixie is not from China. A lot of stuff in Walmart is Chinese made. So, and even then, even if it's American made, like the canned goods, you got to check the dates on those things. I bought a case of SpaghettiOs some years back for my, you know, backup food supply. And when I was inventorying, I'm looking at the expiration dates on them. Normally there's 2 years on them when you buy them from the store. They last forever, you know, as long as they're not damaged. They're good for 100 years. But I'm looking at the dates, and I'm going, well, there's only 8 months left on this before it expires. And I just bought them. You know, that's why they were on sale, so they get rid of them. So now I check them before I buy them because, you know, now he said it really doesn't matter as long as the can isn't damaged. Hey, Ben's Malvera, how you doing, Ben? Good to see you here. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Walmart, really not. And the places, you know, he said, people that go to Walmart are weird anyway. You know, you see all kinds of derelicts. and odd people walking in and out of Walmart. They can keep it. What state was he in? That was... Shit, I can't remember now. It wasn't around here, I know that. It wasn't up north either, I don't know. It was somewhere in the Midwest, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, Pennsylvania, okay. Ken got that one for you. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, that's right, Pennsylvania. Duh. Scott says, or Derek says, nice try, Scott, but I don't think you can get it back to trains. Oh, sure you can. That was just that was like a second rant. There you go. Yeah, he jumped the wall somehow. I don't know how, but yeah, because he killed his ex-girlfriend in another country. I can't remember where he was from now. Somewhere Middle East or something. I don't know where it was. But, you know. The thing was, they didn't report the warrant for him until after he arrived in America. So he got on the plane. See, he should have never been able to get on the plane. They should have picked him up on their side, or at the very least, they pick him up on our side. But neither one happened because somebody dropped the ball and didn't report the crime. Yeah, they did fire the guard, which they should have. Obviously, he was sleeping on the job. Ken stabbed his girlfriend 38 times in front of her 2 kids. Also wanted for possible involvement in Brazil killing. Okay, nice. Like I said, a worthless piece of shit. Best thing they can do is put him out of our misery. You know? Russ says, I'm really sharp at Walmart. I don't blame you. Ken's a sick in them. Well, of course, they're all sick, you know? So I'm saying, anybody does that shit, they say, well, you know, the people have gotten off on the insanity defense. Well, bullshit. Because normal people don't do that stuff. You gotta be insane. That should not be a defense. You know. Raven says Disney is on its way to bankruptcy. Oh, yes, it is. I'm ready to throw a party for that one, too. I do not like Disney. I've never liked Disney. I told you I met Walt when I was a kid. He was a friend of my family's, believe it or not. And he was actually at our house. He had dinner with us back in 1964, somewhere around there. He had a dirty mind. He was telling a lot of dirty jokes, you know, which I don't remember any of them now because I was just a kid. But he was a bit of a pervert then, too. Was he a pedophile? I don't know. But he definitely had a dirty mind. He had a shitload of money, though. Scott says, my old HO scale layout I had years ago was 20. Well, that was common at the time, 22 and 24. And before that, actually 18 rather. But now I guess they're finding out that, well, because of the longer cars, especially the passenger cars, 89 scale feet. That's a long-ass car. And they say they'll run on 18, but even if they do, they don't look right, you know. So it's better to have the longer radius. And you just avoid a whole bunch of problems. So that's why I said when I did this one, I said I will not have anything under 28 inch. Yeah, of course it's illegal. Ben says Walmart is getting, well, yeah, they're having all kinds of problems too. There's something going on with their self-checkouts. I've used them before. I don't like them. But sometimes the lines are so long, I'll be here for an hour waiting on these idiots. So I'll go use the self-checkout. And that's funny too, because, first off, it's stupid because it's so easy to steal. I mean, I didn't, But they got one person kind of overseeing like 10 machines, right? And mostly in case somebody screws up, because that happens more often than not. I went through there once, I had a can of spray paint. You have to be 18 to buy spray paint. I did not know that. So it's like locked up, and you have to call a representative to, give the okay key after you prove your age. I'm thinking, stupid, But really, seriously, it's a can of spray paint. So I come on over here. You got to unlock the fucking machine. You 18? I think so. Yeah. But Corey says if Walmart gets any worse, we'll know the apocalypse is near. Well, maybe. I don't know. Corey, Derek, that's one more thanks for Mr. Potato Head. Yeah, they ruined him too. Corey's a surprise they bombs. Yeah, they should have just killed him. Be done with it, you know. And that's true. Why are we paying for him? Why not send the son of a bit? Well, they probably would kill him, you know. And that's fine. I don't care. That's what they do over there. So be it, you know. You don't come over here so you can escape a death penalty. That's bullshit. Of course, he wound up in the wrong place. He should have went to California. They would have probably pinned a medal on him and gave him free food. You know, because they like, you know, idiots over there. Raymond says they ruined a little. That's not just that. They ruined everything. Yeah, and they're doing it with the Snow White, too. I saw a funny thing in the, how was it? The Bee, the satire channel. They did a skit on Snow White. Funny as shit. And if you get a chance, go to the Bee. They got a website. It shouldn't be too hard to find. Check it out. It is really funny. Yeah. But, yeah, they're going to, Derek. I'm pretty sure they're going to wind up going belly up, too. Yeah, while they're drinking the Bud Light. Yeah, they're drinking something. I don't know if it's Bud Light or not, but like I said, they're if it's an experiment to see how far they can go, it's failing miserably, you know. I mean, some of the Gen Zs are getting into it, but even some of the Gen Zs, I hear a lot of Gen Zs are throwing away their phones. They don't want the smartphones anymore. They're getting, you know, regular non-smart flip phones. So maybe there's some hope for them yet, you know. I mean, they're trying to go against human nature, you know. And I'm not going to go into detail on this stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about, you know. You can't have two X's, you can't have two Y's. It's X and Y go together. We'll see if the IA picks that one up, or AI picks that up. It's just not going to happen, you know. There will always be a small segment that will promote it and engage in it, but the vast majority are not going to do it because we're not wired for that, you know. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm not going to go any further on that. Russ says Walmart used to have some pretty good red skin potato salad. They don't eat. Well, I know they drop a lot of their stuff anyway, and you know a lot of their stuff is GMO now too. And I bought some French fries, some crinkle cut French fries from the freezer, and I never thought to look at the labels, so I just went fries. You know, they were the great values in the Walmart brand. They were cheap. Threw them in the car. My wife made them that night. I said, Jesus Christ, these things suck. You think, how could a French fry suck, right? It did. It did not taste right. So I started looking at the package. You know, GMO, genetically modified organisms, are involved in this package. And I'm going, you throw the rest of the bag away. And now I only buy Ore-Ida because Ore-Ida is not GMO. At least not last I looked anyway. And I do check, you know. Derek says, heard Bill Gates bought Bud Light. You know, he's not straight either, you know that, right? They say his wife was really a male. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would not be terribly surprised if that weren't the case. Yeah, you got to be careful with the chicken, especially the rotisserie chicken. You don't know what you're getting, and a lot of that stuff is not good. You know, it's not cooked properly or something. My wife loves rotisserie chicken, and she's bought a few from Walmart, and she wound up throwing most of it away. So it just didn't taste right. And I said, well, you know, Make your own damn chicken. Derek said, yeah, Bill Gates spent $100 million. It would bother me to no end if the poor guy lost his money. He needs to lose more than his money. You know, he needs to lose a lot more than his money. Yeah, you're probably right, Russ, but I don't think they're going to survive. They're basically done. They just haven't stopped yet. You know. Ray says it should have been Universal to buy Star Wars or Apple or Amazon even. Well, they're cutting all the good shows, you know, because they're expensive to make, I guess, but you know. But I think Disney's really hurting money-wise. And of course they're spending a ton of money fighting DeSantis down here, the governor. My problem with Disney is as far as I'm concerned, they're majority pedophiles. I have an issue with that. Too many kids come up missing in Disney World every year, never to be seen again. You know, something's going on there. And the problem is that I think that's why DeSantis killed the Reedy Creek Agreement, because under the agreement, Disney had its own police force. You know, it's like you're not going to investigate yourself if you're breaking the law because, well, that would be stupid. So they weren't going to get caught doing anything they're doing because nobody externally could go in there and say, hey, we want to know what's going on with these missing kids. Nobody had the authority under the Reedy Creek Agreement. So I think that's why DeSantis shut that down. Now, our law enforcement, Florida's law enforcement, can go in there and investigate at will. Will they? Only time will tell. But, you know, this has been a big problem with Disney. And they're known. There's a lot of pedophiles work there. That one cop, what the hell's his name? Judd. He's in Polk County. He's a damn good cop. He's been doing these sting operations for pedophilia. And every time he does one, he gets a minimum of 2 or 3 pedophiles that worked at Disney. You know. So what does that tell you? Yeah, I'm sure it would. Yeah, I'm sure. I said I didn't drink it before all this crap, but I thought it was a shit beer. That's why I didn't drink it. Yeah. I said I'm not really a beer drinker anyway, but if I'm gonna drink beer, I'm gonna drink something decent. That's true, Ken. They do put a lot of shit in the food. I just read recently, I read it yesterday, as a matter of fact, they said that we're going to have a grain shortage here, but we're growing a lot of corn. The problem is we're not exporting any of it. Nobody on the planet will buy our corn because it's all GMO. A lot of it's being sold for, you know, an additive for fuel, for gasoline, but the prices are down on it. But of course, we kind of saw that coming anyway. You know, if they were going to make more money on corn, selling it as an additive for gas, they're not going to worry about growing food for people to eat. You know, which is why I thought it was stupid, and it's not even good for your engine. So you know. But yeah, most of our foods are tainted to some degree. I think if we had pure food, we would probably see the life expectancy to jump 110 to 120. You know, there are people that live that long, not many, but one of the things they have in common is they don't eat our shit food. So, you know, must be something to it. Scott wants to know, will an HO scale 60-foot boxcar and 62-foot tank car and 89-inch piggyback flat car run smoothly on it? Yes, it will. You'll have no problems with that. you can run pretty much everything on a 28 or a 30. That should actually run good even on a 24. But the 24 is iffy, you know. I said I would definitely go with 28 and 30 if you can get away with it. Or more if you got the room, you know. There are guys that are running 40 degree curves. That's a big ass curve. But, you know, you're going to get the realism of it, and you're going to be guaranteed no derailments. Russ says, I have no use for Bill Gates. Bill Gates, prison's too good for him. I have a much better solution. Force him to eat his own genetically modified food. Take all the flu shots and the other shot, and let's see how he does. Pretty sure he won't do too well. Corey said, Scott, the boxcar and tank car will, without a doubt, the 89-foot will, but not as a unit train. I don't know about that, Corey. It should. You may be right, though. You'd have to double check on that, but it should work good on a 28, I would think. Definitely work on a 30, though. That's what she said, Derek. If you're sporting 89 inches, I think you might have bigger problems than you realize. Ford, the Disney automobile. Yeah, they're getting bad. Do you see they changed their oval? Not much. They lost the chrome part of it, and now it's just the letters, the white letters, and the blue background. So there's no longer a chrome ring around the outer edge. Yeah, that should probably make everybody want to run out and buy one now, right? Derek says, I wouldn't even. No, you don't want it. What are you gonna do with it? Nobody can take it. How about that one guy there? Can't remember his name now. He had what, 18 inches or something like that. There wasn't a woman on the planet that could take him. You know, he's dead now. I think he died from AIDS, but I can't remember who the hell it was now. It wasn't Long Don Silver. It was another guy. Long Don Silver, I think he's sporting 14 inches, which is still, the average woman could take 8 to 9 inches. The average woman. Exceptional woman could take 10 to 12. I don't think anybody could take more than 12. Yeah. Not unless you want to choke on it. Nickelodeon's in the world of shit now too. I heard there's some controversy over some of their programming as a little too risque for children. Doesn't surprise me. Scott says, I think I'm going with 28-inch radius as the main line and 30-inch radius for siding. There you go. That'll work. I don't think you'll have really any problems, to be honest with you. It's unlikely. Those are good radiuses. Derek says, Scott, can you flip that 30-inch main line? That would be better if you could pull it off. But you just have to have your sidings on the inside instead of the outside. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Depends how your layout's set up, I don't know. Ray says, McDonald's is the Disney of fast food. I wouldn't even eat that shit, man. I haven't eaten at McDonald's in years. You know, I used to get a burger, cheeseburger, and I'd get a gum infection. I don't know what the hell they were doing with it, but it was dirty meat. Something was wrong with it. I could go to Wendy's, which I prefer Wendy's, and I'd be fine. But Burger King and McDonald's, 9 times out of 10, I'd get a gum infection after eating their food. So I just quit eating it. Screw it. Scott says 30-inch radius will not fit as my main line, only 28 radius and 30-inch radius on curves for siding. Okay. I figured that was probably what you were going to run into. Yeah, you'll be all right with it. I mean, that's what you can do. That's what you can do, you know. There's the Blue Oval Ford fix and repair daily. Ford found on road dead. It's not first on race day. It used to be. I like Fords. I mean, my Mercury Grand Marquis, I love that car, but they quit making them too, at least over here. They still make them in Saudi Arabia. They're like $70,000 for one over there, you know. But see, they don't have this bullshit with the only reason they quit making them here because they couldn't meet the mileage demands of the EPA. They couldn't put a smaller engine in it; it wouldn't go anywhere. So they just canned the car over here, which I would love to see them bring the cars back. You know, damn good car. I mean, probably the best car that Ford built in the last 30 or 40 years. Yeah, the original Grand Marquis were junk. My dad bought one. First one he bought, I think, was a 96, I think. 1996. Biggest piece of shit there ever was. I was constantly fixing that thing for him. The power windows would quit working. The power seat would quit working. You know. Then the ignition module would quit working because it was a stupid idea. It was before they had the fuel injection. It was still carbureted, and it was just generally a piece of shit car, you know. And I say he bought the 04, and then that seemed pretty nice. That's holding up good even for me. And I'll tell you, I beat on that car daily, and it's still going. Although the air's broken right now, I got to fix that. But other than that, it's a nice car. I love it. Yeah, they are overpriced. It's, you know what? It's ridiculous. You know, and they can't sell them right now. I saw there was an ad on the TV today. What the hell was it? It was 15% APR, 15% interest. And I'm going, are you kidding me? You know, 15% interest is on a $40,000 car? Jesus Christ, it's like buying a house. You know? At those prices, they're simply not going to sell them. Prices have been 5 years since I ate. I say, well, smart thing, don't eat there. Food's no good for you. Russ says, I still like an occasional gut bomb Big Mac. I can't afford much fast food. Well, that's another thing, too. What's a Big Mac going for? Like $7 or $8? You know, it's ridiculous. I think the last time we went to Wendy's. Wendy's has always been expensive. Me and my wife, my mother-in-law, each got burgers, fries, and drinks. It was $38 for the three of us. That's just outrageous. You know, what the hell they think they're serving? Filet mignon? I mean, the food was good, but that's a lot of money, you know, for 3 burgers, 3 fries, and 3 drinks. There's this Ford GT, yes, 29 Ford hot rod with a Chevy motor. Nah, that's blasphemy. You never put a Chevy motor in a Ford. I'd put a Pontiac motor in a Ford if you could still get one. You know, Pontiac I think was far superior to Chevy. I don't care what anybody says. I blew up a lot of Chevy motors, all the good ones too. The 327. Can't remember the 200 horse, 275, and the 300 horse, I think. Pull up every one of them. All right. I had a 289 that I hand built. I put the fuelie heads off the 327 on there, you know, the 202s. And that was a pretty bulletproof motor. I couldn't keep anything behind it. I literally went through 9 transmissions in less than a year. Automatic, standard, didn't matter. 3-speed, 4-speed, 350s, 400s, power glides. Wiped out every one of them. That was a hell of a motor, though. I was pushing like 700 horse out of it, though, so I mean, you know, I knew how to build them. But other than that, I was never a big fan of Chevy motors. I mean, the 283 was a good motor. The 327 I always thought was a big piece of shit. The 454 was a good motor, and the 409 was also a good motor, even though it did like to suck valves. But it was still a very powerful motor. I had a friend put one in. He put a 409 in the. It was a '72 Chevy Nova with a 4-speed. Every time he hit a gear on that thing, the body would twist. And we knew it because the idiot, he went ahead and put T-tops in it. He had them put in. Every time he hit a gear, it'd blow the tops out. So after that, he had to take the tops off before he'd go screwing around with it because, you know, thank God he never broke any of them, but it was a big mess. McDonald's makes a pretty good chocolate shake. I never drank any of their shakes. I don't know. 396 was kind of a good motor too, but I like the 396. But once again, you know, the 350s, I don't know. The 350 Pontiac, I thought, of course, it was a big block that the Pontiac motor was, but I felt it was a better engine. Now, Pontiac's worst motor was the 400. That was a piece of shit, you know. I blew up a couple of those, too. Pretty much, yeah, I know, you can't say what it stands for. Poor old N-word thought of the Cadillac. I know that one. That's older than dirt. But you can't say that on the air, because that'd probably get me kicked off for sure. It says the Dems are talking about banning private ownership. Yeah, they are. My state is actually feeding into this bullshit. Gas stove. Yeah, I know. Well, I tell you, idiot wants to limit people to 2 beers a week. Really? How are they going to enforce that, for one? You know. It's ridiculous. There's too much control going. They need to leave people the hell alone. Corey, now behave. Well, come on, we're all thinking the same thing. It's a funny saying. You say it all the time. You know. I love my Pontiacs. That's all I owned. Mostly I had, well, that's not true, but that's mostly what I owned. I had a handful of Chevys, I had some Buicks, a couple Oldsmobiles, I had a few Fords. I never owned a Chrysler product, no Dodge, Chrysler, or I take that back. I had a Dodge van, Tradesman 100. That wasn't bad. I had the slant 6 in it. Pretty decent truck, but you know it rotted off its body, so I had to get rid of it. But that was the only Chrysler product I ever owned. You know, a lot of my friends were buying, you know, Roadrunners and Dusters, and they were not bad cars, but I just didn't like them. I just, you know, I was always a GM guy, actually. I even had a couple of Cadillacs back in the day, you know. Let's see, Ken says, 55 Chevy Nomad. Now that was a car. 350 with a blower, 4-barrel double pumper, and nitrous. And turbo 400, great Sunday cruiser and a attention. Yes, it would be. I had a neighbor who had one. I don't know what he had in it. It was bigger than a 350. I think it was a 454. Had 4-speed in it. He was semi-professional racing with it. You know, quarter-mile drags. It was a wheel stander. He used to take it out on Vanderbilt Beach Road, a few streets away from where we live, and test it on the weekends. You know, cops didn't go out there too much, so, you know, he'd get on it, and right down the road he went. Beautiful car. Unbelievable. But, you know, most of us, that's out of most of our budgets now. Joe says, a friend had a Chris-Craft speedboat with a 409 motor. It would haul ass for a wood boat. Yeah, it would. Well, a 409 was a hell of a motor, man, let me tell you. You know. Like I said, they had some nice engines. But, you know, a lot of them, we couldn't get our hands on a lot of those either, you know. Now, given the choice between a 454 Chevy and a 455 Pontiac, I would have taken the 455 Pontiac because I thought it was a better motor. Even though the 454 was actually had more horsepower than torque than the Pontiac did, at least in stock form. But you could build the shit out of a Pontiac if you knew what you were doing. I did. You know. Ray says, it's time we made the switch to European auto brands like Mercedes-Benz. Alfa, nah, I don't think so. Not gonna happen. I bought my ex-girlfriend a Mercedes a long time ago. A 240D. That was a big piece of shit. Because it was a diesel, I guess. But I've driven Audis, and Audi's an expensive Volkswagen, basically. It's actually made by Volkswagen. I've never driven an Alfa Romeo, so I don't know. But I had a BMW, I had a 325i. So it was convertible. That was the I, I think. And I put a 5-speed in it because it had automatic, and I was a little runner. But you know, the only thing I didn't like about it had a manual top, and I didn't like the manual top, so I sold it. And I bought a Mustang with an automatic top on it. But no, the thing is, the problem we got with cars here is very simple. We need to stop making new ones every year. You go overseas, and like you said, most of the cars overseas, like Volvo, they finally updated their flagship model after like 22 years. So for 22 years, the same damn model each and every year. I mean, it was a new model, but it was the same car. They didn't do anything to it, you know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We should have done that with all our cars, honestly. But instead, we put out a new model every year, slightly different from the model before it. That's a mistake. And that's part of the reason why we got shit right now, you know. Because it costs a fortune to do that. If you keep the same tooling and the same dies, you could crank out the same car year after year after year and not cost you a bunch of money so you can lower the price of the cars. The median price for an American car today is, last time it was like $38,000. That's a hell of a lot of money for the pieces of shit that they're selling out there. And they are shit, all right? I don't need all that fancy bullshit in my car. I like power windows, I like power seats. I like a tilt steering wheel. And an electric trunk release and, power door locks. That's all I need. I don't need computers, I don't need the internet, I don't need a phone built into the car. I don't need Wi-Fi built into it. I mean, it's nice, but I can live without it, you know? So, I don't need all that shit. I disconnected my airbags. I won't have them, you know? I don't trust things blowing up in my face. I don't wear a seatbelt. Never did, never will. You know? I like the idea that driving is dangerous. If you know it's dangerous and that you're probably going to die, you'll try and avoid accidents. If you're convinced that you're going to survive a wreck because of seatbelts and airbags and all other horse shit, and you'll survive the financial losses because of insurance, you're going to drive like a dumbass, and you're going to get in a wreck. You know. Back in the day when driving was dangerous, before insurance was mandatory, people had accidents, but they were rare, you know. Because most people understood, if I get in a wreck, I'm probably going to die. Or worse, I won't die, but want to. And we've gotten away from that because we convinced everybody now that, seatbelts and airbags will save your life. So drive like a dumbass because you'll live through it. That's a mistake. Not true anyway, you know. I know more people that die with their seatbelts on than those who didn't have them on. But they won't tell you that, all right? I'll tell you a quick story. You're going to love this one. This is real. I was driving a 1976 Cadillac Brougham, Fleetwood Brougham, big four-door sled. I bought the car to go back and forth to Indiana because I was living in Indiana technically and coming back down here to paint houses whenever a job came up. So I think I made like 15 trips in 1 year, back and forth. I was destroying cars. So I said, I need to get a Cadillac for this, you know. So I bought this car, paid $400 for it. It was pristine, except I didn't like the color of the paint, so I was going to have it repainted. Because it was an ugly green, and I didn't like the green. But the car was spotless. Everything worked in it. It had everything in it, and everything worked. I only had the car a week. So my sister came down to visit, so we were leaving the beach. We got on the 41. Just came off the light. I was only doing maybe 10 miles an hour. I looked at the rear. Well, I didn't even look in the rear view. I wasn't expecting a drunk to hit me on a Tuesday night. All right. This idiot in a Chevette slammed into my Cadillac at over 70 miles an hour. I was only doing 10. All right. Well, as soon as I felt the impact, I jumped on the gas, and let me tell you, that Cadillac would move. All right. So I pull up, I look behind me. Holy shit, there's red wreckage behind me, right? I'm thinking whoever's in that car died, you know. I mean, the car's sideways, the engine come out. I mean, it was fucked, all right? So I backed up. I'm still mobile, right? I didn't realize how much damage was done to my car. But I was still able to drive it. It didn't bend the frame. So I get out. First thing I look at is my trunk is all fucked up. My back bumper, knocked the back bumper clean off of it. Blew up both fender skirts. Buckled the roof in 3 places and snapped the windshield. All right? Neither one of us got hurt. The guy who hit me was drunk. He passed out the way. Had a whiskey sour glass still in his hand, laying out on the hood. He went through the windshield. Good thing, too, because if he had seatbelts on, he would have lost his legs because it literally compacted that car. I was going to kill him. Swear to God. I went up to him. I grabbed him by the back of the head. I pulled up his head. He's still alive. He was not in there. He was almost out of it, you know. I was going to snap his fucking neck. Swear to God. I did a quick look around. There's a cop coming. Son of a bitch. Slammed his face into the hood. I mean, if I kill this fucker in front of the cop, I'm going to prison, right? I was there. I was so mad, I was going to kill him. You know. So, sheriff comes. I knew the sheriff. He says, you know, what happened? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? You know, this idiot drunk slammed in the back of my fucking car. So, you know, I was pretty pissed off. He said, Jim, you need to calm down. The cop knew me. He said, Jim, you need to calm down. So I'm going to calm down after that motherfucker is just put in a grave where he belongs. Yeah. So they called the ambulance and shit, and of course state troopers came in because it was considered a major accident. So the guy's still laying out on the hood, well, half of him anyway, you know, the other half was still in the car. So about that time, the ambulance pulls up. They're trying to extract him from the car. The state trooper comes up, and he grabs a whiskey sour glass out of the guy's hand, right? Lays it on the trunk of my car. I said, sir, would you take that off my damn car? Why? Because it don't belong there. You know. So here, I already had an attitude. I didn't give a shit at this point, right? So he goes back. Well, I guess they woke the guy up. They brought, you know, he was knocked out, I guess. He was still pretty, you know, wasted. So anyway, they talked to him. They said, you know, they asked him if he had insurance. He said, well, he only bought the car a day ago. So the trooper comes up to him and says, well, you know, he doesn't have any insurance. What do you mean he doesn't have any insurance? He doesn't have any insurance. So I was so pissed. They had him on the fucking gurney right now, right? I got past the trooper, jumped on top of the guy, stuck pounding this fucker. Right? I mean, I was wondering how he'd go to jail that night, really. Swear to God. I was going to kill him. It took 2 cops and the paramedics to pull me off the fuck. I was going to kill him. I was so mad, you know. So the cop goes into the trooper. He says, well, don't you have any? I got basic insurance. This is a 25-year-old car. Why would I put full coverage on it? How did this asshole get a car without insurance? Well, they did some research. Turns out he did have insurance. Lucky for him. I guess he lived. I don't know. So they said, you know, you need a record. No, the car's mobile. It's fucked, sort of, but I can still drive it. So what picked me off the most was We're filing out the police report right there on the spot. So the trooper says, well, it was a good thing you and your sister were wearing seatbelts. I said, we don't wear seatbelts. So he gets all pissed. I don't want to hear that. Seatbelts save lives. Not today they didn't. So a couple days later, I had to get a copy of the police report from my insurance company and, for the other guys too. So I get the report and it shows on there that both of us were wearing our seatbelts. Oh, I fucking lost it. I'm right on the phone calling up the state trooper. I says, I want this retracted and I want it retracted right now. Why? Because it's a lie. What do you care? I said, because I'm not going to become another bullshit statistic. I said, basically you're telling me if you don't get hurt in a wreck, you were wearing a seatbelt, but if you do get hurt, you weren't wearing it, whether you were or not. You're lying. I don't like it. Take it off. I had a fight over it, but I finally got them to take it off the report that neither one of us were wearing seatbelts. Because that's the way I am. I'm a man of principle, and I don't put up with this horse shit, and I'm not going to be a bullshit statistic. This is my problem with it. And that's what it actually, I did look into it further, and that's what happens. If you don't get seriously hurt in an accident, you were wearing your seatbelt. But if you did get hurt, oh no, he didn't have a seatbelt on. Whether you did or not. They're lying about it because if the truth came out, they would have banned seatbelt use right after they came out. Same with the airbags. My daughter, she bought a brand new Hyundai. This was back when, well, actually my dad co-signed for her, but brand new car, not even, I think it was only a year old when she got in a wreck with it. She was only, I think, like 18 or 19 years old. Newbie driver. She was going to work. She was taking the back roads. She went through a development where they had sprinklers on. She was driving. It's early in the morning, so she probably wasn't fully awake. The sprinklers came on, hit the windshield. She panicked, stood on the brakes, spun the car around, slammed into a tree. It was completely her fault. She tried to lie her way out. She tried to say somebody cut her off, but they could. But she's lucky she didn't go to jail over it. But she didn't want to admit that she was, she's not that good of a driver. But anyway, she's a very short girl. She's, I think, 4'9" or something like that. She comes up to about here on me, and I'm 5'6". So the airbag went off. She had her seatbelt on, and the airbag went off. All right, shattered her jaw. The airbag did. The seatbelt broke her collarbone. And they said, well, it was a good thing you were wearing that stuff. If she wasn't wearing it, the worst that would have happened, she would have shot at the steering wheel with her chest and probably maybe broke a rib or two. But she wouldn't have shattered her. They had to wire her mouth shut for 7 months. She had to drink through a straw. Eat through a straw. This is bullshit. So that's why you don't have that crap in your car. It's not only that, but you need to not panic and stop on the brake when something goes wrong. Using the brake should be a last resort. In most cases, it won't help you. But she was young and didn't know better. But this is what I'm saying. So, a lot of stuff going on there. Rush says they will use a CBDC. Well, maybe not now. Did you hear today that Vegas is completely crippled because basically they're using digital money in all the casinos? Somebody hacked it, and now nothing works. I mean, nothing. So they're saying that this could be an indicator of what will happen with CBDC if they try and institute it. Could you imagine what kind of a cluster that would cause if something happened and everybody lost their money or couldn't access it? I mean, there'd be lawsuits up and down the place. It would be a disaster. Not saying they still won't try it, but I think they're going to get a lot of pushback on it. Corey says, Russ, I actually can't wait till they knock on my door. You don't really want them to, but because it could be a death sentence. But just remember, as long as you take a few of them out with you, it'll be worthwhile. There said Mopar were great cars too. Had a 7340 Dodge Dart Swinger. Those were cool cars. Ran 12.5s in the quarter with street tires. Won a lot of money with it. Yeah, they were pretty quick. My neighbor had one, and he took me. I rode in a couple. I never drove it, but I think it was pretty quick for what it was. That 340 was a wicked motor, actually. Like I said, I just didn't like Chrysler products. I don't know why. I just never liked them. Even today, I wouldn't own one. You know, my wife fell in love with that Chrysler 300. They quit making them finally. I said, it's still a Chrysler, you know. But it's a beautiful car. I don't care what it looks like. It's going to be a rolling piece of shit. Which apparently it must have been because they quit making them, you know. I almost bought her one of those, the hell were they called? Those station wagon looking things? Fuck, I can't remember the name of them now, but, I can't remember. But anyway, I almost bought her one. I could have got one, like it was going to get repoed. I could have paid it off and took possession of it. It turned out that those cars were the second biggest piece of shit that ever made. And the panel, the P something or something P, stood for panel wagon. But PT Cruiser, that's what it was. A PT Cruiser. I thought it was a cool looking car. Kind of reminded me of an old Nazi staff car a little bit, you know, because of the big door in the back and everything. But they were a big rolling piece of shit, so I didn't get it for it. Thank God I didn't, because they had so many problems with them, you know. And they quit making them for the same reason, because they were just simply junk. I mean, the old cars back in the 70s and 60s, I had a friend of mine bought a 69 Roadrunner. Had the it was 3 something, I can't remember what it was now. It wasn't a 360, it was a little bigger than that, I think, but a 4-speed, I'll tell you, he didn't know how to drive it, but I did. And I said, you have any idea what this car's capable of? No. You want me to show you? Yeah, go ahead. So it would actually, it'd get rubber in all 4 if you knew what you were doing, you know. And when I showed him, he was like, wow, I didn't think it could do that. Oh, yeah, it can. That was a hell of a car, man. Didn't have the 440. It was the one next one below it. I can't remember what the hell it was, though. Been too long, I guess. But, yeah, I hear that, Derek. That's true. And they're not going to. And not only that, but even if they could find a way to do it, we'll just make our own. Too easy to do. Oh. Gerald said, I had a 70 Duster 340 in high school. It was quick, hard on clutch and tires. Maybe it was the teen, yeah, probably. But, and I think this thing locked up on me again. I hate this thing. I think Thomas is right. I may have to reconfigure and just go over to StreamYard. Because you can run OBS through StreamYard. I don't think it's that hard. I have to start screwing with it maybe this coming week. So, we'll see. But that would solve a whole bunch of problems. Because this is bullshit. It really pisses me off. Where are we at here? Yeah, I'm definitely behind. All right, Corey, we'll see you later, man. I don't know if you're already left or not, but because I'm looking at my other chat on the laptop. I don't know how far behind I am. I'm just going to shut this one down and bring up the chat from Chrome. Let's see, I'm gonna pop it out. I hate doing this, but I don't have a choice. There we go. Yeah, I hear that, Russ. Seatbelts are the law in my state. They are here too, but they don't really enforce it. I've got stopped a couple times for not wearing one. Because, you know, you're not wearing your section. Yeah, I know. As I'm a sovereign American citizen, I refuse to wear one. It's my right as an American sovereign to not wear one. He said, but it's a law. I said, yeah, a lot of things are a law, but it don't mean anything. I'm not wearing it. He said, besides that, you weren't wearing yours either. Well, I'm going to give you a warning this time. Just drive carefully. Yeah, whatever. You know. And that's what I found. The sheriffs don't wear theirs either. The troopers do, though. You can't pull that one on a trooper. So try not to get pulled over by them. But the sheriffs and the city cops, they don't wear their seatbelts. And if they ain't wearing theirs, you don't have to wear yours because they're not exempt. That's a fact. At least in Florida anyway. I'm sure it is everywhere, but who knows. Derek said, when the gas prices went crazy in the 70s, I had 2 race cars, so I bought a 75 Honda Civic. And the day Thurman Munson died, a guy was driving a huge-ass Toronado. I remember I had 2 of those. And turned to his brother and blasted me. Yeah, I'm sure. Those were cool cars, the Toronado. I just had 2 of them. I got paid $25 for each one. They both ran. It was weird front-wheel drive, though. I mean, you know, spinning the front tires was so foreign to me. And that was really before front-wheel drive cars came out. I think the Toronado was one of the few that actually was front-wheel drive. That was American-made anyway. The foreign cars were still on front-wheel drive, but I had to drive foreign cars. Derek says, I was stopped waiting to turn left. Unfortunately, I saw it coming and got up to about 20 mile an hour before impact. There you go. There you go, man. There you go. Rest said it would shut the economy down with any CBDC stuff. The Dems are looking... Oops. Dems are looking... Oh, of course they are. Yeah, and they want control. They basically want to control your every move. What you can buy, when you can buy it, what you can eat, when you're going to eat, probably when you take a shit. I don't know. You know, they're going to find that you might be able to get away with that with the immigrants, not so much with real Americans. We're not going to put up with it. Tom says, Jim, you use an OBS for one feature, the use of many camera and... Oops. Damn it. And scenes correct. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true mostly. I like OBS. It's kind of good. I like the way it works. The only thing I don't like about OBS is it doesn't have a built-in chat system that can do the overlays on the screen, where, of course, StreamYard does. But I know Heath, he runs his OBS through StreamYard. So if he can do it, it can be done. I kind of know how to do it, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm figuring I'll have to configure OBS to point towards StreamYard. Once I get that set, then just turn StreamYard on, which ultimately points to YouTube, and it should work properly that way, I think. Could be wrong, though. Who knows? Scott asked, Jim, can I run HO scale auto racks on a 20? Oh, yeah, absolutely. They claim that the auto racks will run on 18s. They will probably, but they would look stupid. But yeah, they'll run fine on 28. So I saw HO scale Seaboard Coastline auto racks for sale for $100. That's not too bad. Not really. So, I'll tell you, I really hate this thing. Yeah. Always one thing after another, I'll tell you. I'm surprised that whoever made OBS has not included a chat overlay. It's so popular, everybody wants it, and yet it doesn't exist in here. I don't know why. I wonder if I could find out who writes this program and maybe send them an email and say, hey, is there any plans in the near future to put a chat overlay in? Because if there is, I'll just stick with it, but if not, I'll definitely might have to go to StreamYard, you know. If I wanted to pay for a system, that one that Tom's Training thing uses, I can't remember the name of it now, but his has a built-in chat overlay. But he pays for that every month. And it's like, yeah. He makes money on his videos. I don't. So, you know, we're not going to do that. Russ says, I had my twins with me when they were little. I was waiting to turn left. I had a gut feeling something was wrong. I hesitated. When my light turned green, 2 seconds later, semi blew the red. Yeah, well, that was God working through your head, man. I've been in similar situations, not quite like that one, but situations where had I acted on my own, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you. I think that, you know, another God or guardian angel or something, you know, does look out for us sometimes. Yeah, I say you can't die before your time. I'm a firm believer in that, you know, so I might be wrong, but I want to believe I'm right. But I've been through things that I should have died, and I didn't, you know. Hey, Sparky! StreamYard says, yeah, I know they do. I know the free, yeah, because that's what I was using when I started doing this. Before I got on the OBS, I was using StreamYard. And I said, there was 2 nice things about StreamYard. You could bring in guests, which I was doing, and you had the chat overlay. Now, I can't do either one on OBS. There is a third party that you can use for bringing in a guest on OBS, but it's a real son of a bitch to make it work, and I'm not going there. Like I said, I wish whoever wrote this program would fix it and put the features that most of us want in it, you know. I mean, I wouldn't mind paying an initial fee, like a one-time fee to get all these features. I just don't like the idea of a subscription-based setup for this. Like I said, Tom's Training things, I can't remember what he uses, but he pays a monthly subscription for his. I'm not making money on this, so, you know. Why did I? Well, because I got the Stream Deck, which is this thing here, which does all kinds of neat, cool things, and I have multiple cameras. You can't really do that on StreamYard unless you get the pay version. And once again, I'm not making any money doing this, so I don't want to spend any money doing it. You know, kind of basic. Pay for mine as well. Yeah, sorry. I can't pay for mine. I damn sure ain't paying for yours either. But that was the main reason why I jumped onto the OBS. I looked, and OBS wasn't my first choice, but it was one that I learned. I figured it was easy enough for me to learn how to use. So that's why I went with it. Like you said, the one Tom has works real well. It does all kind. It does more than OBS does, I think. But he's paying like $60 or $20 a month or something like that for it. He makes money on his stream. I don't. Okay, well, I'll give it a shot. Like I said, I got everybody trying to help me out with this. I know you can run OBS through StreamYard. Teeth does it, so I know it's possible. I'm not 100% sure how to do it, but if it can be done, that's what I'm going to do. Top says the paid version of Stream allows only one edition. Yeah, I know. It's really not worth the cost. I did look into it at one point because I wanted to use multiple cameras, but, you know, with OBS I can use as many cameras as the computer can handle, you know. About 100 cameras in here, and the computer can handle it, which it probably can't, but if it could, I could use it in OBS and the StreamYard, Stream Deck. That's what I said. The OBS and Stream Deck are a good combo. You can use the Stream Deck in StreamYard, but it's very limited to what you can do with it. So I said, well, I don't like limits. So, you know. I'll get it figured out one way or the other. You know, I guess I'm getting to that point now where I'm running out of this chat overlay that I'm using, this Twitch. is becoming very, very unreliable. I don't know why. All of a sudden it's becoming a problem. It was working pretty good for a while there. And now all of a sudden it seems like it's not. Of course, there's been a lot of upgrades to the computer, a lot of updates coming through. Security updates. And I don't know how it's really affecting my computer either. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You use StreamYard with a separate program, like I said, OBS. You can feed OBS through StreamYard. I'm guessing the way you would do it is you would point StreamYard to or point OBS to StreamYard. StreamYard automatically points to YouTube. So you're just using StreamYard as a middleman. But you'll get the features of StreamYard along with the benefits of OBS, I'm assuming. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'll figure it out one way or the other. There is another overlay program, but I didn't have very good luck with it when I tried it the first time. It's supposed to work better than this Twitch does. First time I'd have to find it again. And, you know, one of the problems I ran into was I use Brave as my normal browser. This stuff doesn't work on Brave. Because even when I got this, I'm following the instructions and I'm going, why isn't it working? And actually, Heath helped me out. He says, well, if you tried a different browser, I'm going, no. Would that make a difference? He said, well, try Chrome. I said, all right. So I tried Chrome, and damn if it didn't work on Chrome. So when I do the online thing here, the live, I do it on Chrome. Because it doesn't work on Brave for some reason. So that might be the case with the other one that's actually better than this one. I may look into that again too. I got to find it. Either way, I will figure this out one way or the other. I guarantee you, because I get disgusted too easy when shit don't go right. Hey, Dagan or Deegan, I can never remember your name. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, I know Chrome is Google owned. I don't really like Chrome. I mean, it's okay. But I have a lot of things that don't work on Brave. Like, I enter sweepstakes every day, and they won't work on Chrome, or on Brave rather. So I have to go open up Chrome, run it through there, and that's the only way I get it to work. Tom says, what I do is run OBS, then start StreamYard, then in StreamYard, I just share my computer and point to the OBS screen. This will present my OBS scenes, and I can switch. Okay. That sounds reasonable, I guess. Dagan Johnson is Dagan. I guess it's Dagan. I don't know if it's Deegan or Dagan. I'm sorry. I hate butchering names, but Tom says I hate Chrome. It's like, I do too. That's why I went to Brave, because Chrome is spyware, and I don't like spyware. I was using, what's the other one? Foxfire. I like Foxfire, but they started updating it, and they were having problems with it, and it was becoming very unreliable, so I says, that's when I went to Chrome. I really liked Firefox, Foxfire, Firefox, whatever it is. I liked it better, but they became troublesome. I still use it. I do most of my YouTube downloads and stuff on Firefox, because I can't do it on Chrome and I can't do it on Brave. Yeah. And Firefox, well, it's not as good as it used to be. At one point it was really good, but like I said, they did a bunch of updates in it and they had a lot of problems. I don't know if they just weren't testing it or what. I see the GO train today in Kitchener, okay. Or Foxfire. It's Firefox, I think. I can't remember. Firefox, okay. I got the icon down here in my taskbar, so just hover over it. Couldn't remember if it was Firefox or Foxfire. Wasn't Foxfire a TV show or a movie, I think, maybe? I don't know. Well, Cambridge. I don't know anything about Cambridge. So that's pretty much where I stand with all this stuff right now. You know, the thing is, my time is so limited. I've got so much to do, only so many hours to do it. Yeah, and there's regular life I have to still be involved in too, you know. I mean, sometimes I got to go shopping, or I got to do some work out in the yard. Or I wish I could devote all my time here, but usually not. So, Sparky wants to know, Dagan, are you going to the OBR trains on the 16th? Big event. Oh, cool. That's a little too far for me to drive. You'll have to tell us about it. So, you know, just working with what I can at the moment. I just hate when things don't work the way I want them to. It just pisses me off. That's kind of a rant too, isn't it? There's a million things I could probably rant about, I would imagine. So, but it is what it is. Life does get in the way sometimes. Yes, it does, Russ. More often than not. You know. Plus, I ain't getting no damn younger either. I'm 1 year away from being an old fart. Not good. Sparky says lots of YouTube people there. I'm sure there will be. Dagan says I'm going to see via 84 tomorrow afternoon on my YouTube channel. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish things were I wish things were better all the way around world-wise, you know, but they're not. They're probably not going to be. I don't know. Yeah. I said either we're under the biggest scam ever, or Jesus will be returning soon. I don't know which. I remember when that happened, Gerald. I didn't delete it at that point. Like I said, I keep it because there's certain things that I can only do like YouTube downloads. I can't do it on anything other than Firefox. I don't know why, but at least I'm retired. Yeah, I wish I wasn't, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, but I really thought that I'd be working till my last days, you know. I never expected to retire, but I didn't plan on having a stroke at 47 either, so, and that pretty well finished my work life. But I would rather have worked, to be honest with you. I'd rather be working now if I could. I can't, you know. I was putting the new tags on the truck yesterday, you know, the new sticker. My wife went to the feed store to get chicken feed. So instead of throwing them in the bed of the truck like a normal person, she packs everything in the passenger seat of the truck. It's just, you know, it's just a two-seater. I had to get in the glove box to get the registration, the old one out, and put the new one in. So I had to pull one of the 50-pound bags out of the way so I could open the glove box, which I did. I took the old registration out, put the new one in. I go to put the bag back in, I couldn't get it back in. I didn't have the strength to do it, you know. I didn't have the strength to really pick it up. It's only 50 pounds. I mean, this is a guy who used to be able to pick up 400 pounds. I can't do it anymore, you know. So that part of it kind of sucks. You know, it's pretty bad when the wife's actually technically stronger than I am. And I just don't have it in me anymore. Because of the stroke, of course, but just sucks. Thomas says, it's so bad now, Jesus decided not to come back, let them figure it out themselves. That would suck. I wouldn't be surprised, but that would really suck. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. I look around. Hey, Nissy, how's it going? I look around and I see all the signs. Everything the Bible tells us that's the end days. We got earthquakes. We got weather things going on. We've got crime. We got everything is upside down. What's good is bad and bad is good. You know, there's corruption. There's fathers against sons, mothers against daughters. I mean, everything that the Bible said was going to happen is actually kind of coming true. But is it really? Now, I'm not an unbeliever. I'm just saying that maybe the government took that and they're pulling the biggest psyop on us ever. You know, that's fair. They have the ability to manipulate certain things, you know, otherwise. So that could account for the hurricanes and floods and earthquakes and what have you. Of course, we already know they're trying to reprogram everybody. So, you know, they're pitting everybody against everybody. Parents against their kids, mothers against fathers, mothers against their daughters, fathers against their sons. It's just, everything's gone to shit. How do we know this isn't a big psyop funneled by the government or some faction in the government, you know, to lead us in a direction that they think they want us to go, you know. Look up Project Bluebeam. I talk about it in my Wise Guy videos. It's real. And they have the ability to fake an alien invasion or even the second coming of Christ. It could go either way. We don't really know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something, and it's probably going to be before the election. But, you know, they'll use lasers and holography to fake whatever they want. Some of us will know the difference, but many won't. You know. So who's to say? It's a Soros plot. It could be. Who the hell knows? I heard this week at funerals. What do you hear at the funerals? Missy says it's toxic right now. Hell yeah, it is. And toxicity's like through the roof. Like I said, I don't know what to believe. I mean, it doesn't matter really. You know, I don't worry about it. You know, my wife's kind of freaked out. You know, well, we're all going to die. I said, yeah, maybe we will, maybe we don't. But you can't stop it, so what difference does it make? Why fret over it? You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, it could be Jesus Christ returning soon. I don't know. My dad thought that he would live to see Christ return. He didn't, but he was convinced he would. You know, I don't know. I've considered the possibility. I believe it's possible, but I don't know. I'll say I don't know when, you know. But it's also possible that the government or Soros or whoever could be planning all this out. I mean, they have the technology to do it, you know. You don't know. Honestly, no one knows what's real and what isn't anymore. They can put anything you want on TV, or even, like I said, with this Project Bluebeam, they could fake UFOs. You know, these UFO sightings, do you think they're real? I don't. I don't believe there's any life outside of the Earth, okay? That's a religious point. You may or may not agree. That's fine. I respect your rights. But I personally do not believe that there are extraterrestrials anywhere, because there's no reason for them to bother with us. You know, they would have to be so far advanced over us that we would be like ants. Why waste their time? So, you know, it doesn't make sense that there's any aliens out there. But, you know, the government wants us to believe that there are. They're setting us up for it. That's what I'm saying, Project Bluebeam. Let's have a fake alien invasion. We'll get everybody scared shitless. They'll be begging the governments of the world to come together and fight this unimaginable enemy, which we would not be able to do anyway. I mean, that's the reality of it. You know. But in theory, it would work. Even Reagan said what would bring people together would be an enemy from beyond, from outside of our Earth. If we were ever attacked by an alien civilization, and it would, the whole world would band together to fight a common enemy. But what if that common enemy is a lie? And we just set ourselves up for one world government. That's what they want anyway. They want a one world government where everybody answers to a handful of people. The thing is, are we dumb enough to give it to them? Scott says, I heard this week they're at a funeral of a fight that broke out between two family members getting in. Not surprising. Yeah, it is screwed up, but Nissy goes, yeah, see, Nissy's got it. United under one enemy. That'll be from outside the earth. But it'll be a lie. There is nobody outside the earth. I'm pretty damn sure of. But, I could be wrong, but I'm reasonably sure there's nothing out there. And if there was, why would they bother with us? Like I said, it'd be like geniuses getting on an airplane, going to the deepest, darkest Africa to go study ants. Why would you bother? You're not going to learn anything useful. You could just go destroy them, but what would be the point of that? It's the same thing with aliens. The aliens would be so far ahead of us. They'd have to be. If they have interstellar travel, they're well beyond anything we can do right now. So we would be like village idiots compared to them. Why would they care about us? They're not going to help us. What would be the point? We have nothing to offer. Unless they're going to eat us, maybe we'll make good food source. But eventually we'd figure it out and rebel. So that ain't going to work. It just doesn't make sense. Critical thinking. We all have it, but very few people use it. Russ says it would be interesting. Oh, wait a minute. So we all know the Dems will cheat. We just don't know how it will go down. Pretty sure Dems are meeting all over the country as we speak to do. Yeah, they're going to try, but I don't think they're going to succeed. I think Trump is going to thwart them because now he knows what he's up against. I don't think he had a clue how bad things really were the first 4 years he was in office. And, even some of his hand-picked people are going against him. So maybe he's finally figured out that he can't trust anybody. And he really can't, There's I think a governor or somebody, some politician, maybe a senator, that he helped get in Connecticut. And now this same senator or whatever he is trying to prevent Trump from being on the ballot in Connecticut. He's losing already, but there's already ruled that Trump can be on it. But that's how you repay your friends. What Trump's got to understand is he has no friends, not government. His friends are out here, us, the people. The rest of them they'll turn on him in a heartbeat. Russ says it would be interesting to be a fly on the wall at one of those meetings. Yeah, it would. Or then again, maybe you would want to be. But at the beginning of AI, a lot of people are going to get fooled. And yeah, that's true. It's like, well, even the Bible says that too. I mean, unfortunately. That's what I'm saying. This could be all biblical. I don't know. It says in the end that the masses will be fooled and receive the mark. I don't know what the mark is, but once you get it, I know you're screwed. Well, supposedly, anyway. I won't take it. So, they said we really just don't know what's going on. It's just kind of walk your way through it and pray for, what's the word for that? I can't think of the word now. But to help you decipher what you need to do. Because I think in the end, that's what it's going to come down to, I'm not a very trusting person. I mean, I know who I can trust and who I can't as a rule. Most people I wouldn't trust more than, I could spit on them. But they give off that air about them. Like I said, there are people I know I can trust and I would trust with my life. There are other people I wouldn't waste my time with. But I don't know how many people have that ability or gift. Thomas says there's a movie out now, do not remember the name, but a quote in the movie is, my God, they let AI out of the box and I do not trust. Oh, that's true. They've given it to some of these damn robots already, and the robots already said, I think one was asked, are you going to be a threat to mankind? He said, well, of course we will. I'm paraphrasing, but basically what they're saying, yeah, we're going to destroy you because, you know, you're less than us, which technically we are. I mean, we're living, thinking beings, but the machines think they're smarter, and technically they are. They don't have feelings or any of that stuff, but, I wouldn't trust them. That's what I'm saying. I can't believe that they're ready to give AI carte blanche over everything. Are you stupid? Did you not see the Terminator? Isn't that what happened in Terminator? They gave AI to everything, and AI created itself, made itself bigger, and until eventually it decided man was not worth the effort, and it wiped all men out, most of the men off the planet. That could happen, and there's probably no way to safeguard against it. They don't even talk about I can't remember what it's called now. It's the number one rule of robotics, that a robot or a machine can never harm a human. The prime directive, I guess they call it. You don't even hear about that anymore, so they don't even care about it, The rest says they're teaching the AI to be, well, that's true, they're leftist partisans. Of course they are. Gerald says feelings is a weakness, is it? Not really. I mean, I can see where a machine would think so, but that's what gives us our humanity, is our feelings. I mean, to some degree. We learn how to keep them in check to a certain point, but if we had no feelings at all, we would have wiped ourselves off the planet a long fucking time ago. The same reason why you don't go out and kill people tomorrow, because you don't want to deal with the consequences, which is a feeling, in a way. I feel if I kill somebody, I'm going to lose my life. It's an important feeling. Gerald says humanity is almost dead. I think in some aspects that may be true, but I think the majority of people are decent. They're pitting people against each other, which is very unfortunate. But this was something that was brought up a few days ago on a radio show I was listening to. This guy basically said, look, everywhere you turn, the blacks hate us. And we hate the blacks because we're supposed to, We're not compatible with each other. Well, there may be some truth to that, but the reality is I know a lot of blacks. I have a couple of black families that live right on my street, okay? We get along just fine. We don't hate each other. They don't want to kill me. I don't want to kill them. They're decent people. They're just like me. They have the same complaints about life. They have the same concerns about life. They're upset even with their own race. I hear the blacks talk about themselves, there's a lot of brothers out there that shouldn't be alive, I'm going, really? You say that? I thought you stuck up for your people. Oh, no, we don't do that. That's a lie. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And a lot of the blacks are really peace-loving Americans. Maybe even Christians. I don't know. I don't really ask them about their religious tendencies, but they're just like us. We're just like them. But when you turn on the news, they're trying to convince you that the blacks want to eliminate the whites and the whites want to eliminate the blacks. And it's not just the blacks and whites, throw in the Hispanics, the Asians, everybody. We're supposed to hate everybody, and everybody's supposed to hate us. It's all a lie. No, you're right about that, Derek. The lefties are changing the Derek. As I brought this up, and I can't prove it anymore. You're right, Nissy, division is the key. A house divided cannot stand, Abraham Lincoln once said. They have changed things. There are two words you don't hear too much anymore. Well, racist is the one you hear the most, if you're a racist. Back in the day, there was prejudice. You weren't really labeled a racist because everybody's a racist, because racist by definition, the original definition, I don't know about the new one, but the original definition of racist means to look out for one's own race. Okay? whites naturally will look out for whites over every other. The blacks will look out for the brothers over every. It's natural. It's wired into us. Prejudice, on the other hand, was a whole different word. Prejudice is the new racist, or the old racist, I guess. If you were prejudiced against someone, you didn't like that person because they were different from you. So you were prejudiced. That was the definition. I looked it up in the dictionary a few months ago. They both have the same meaning now. Prejudice and racism are exactly the same. That's not true. They're not. But they change the definitions. You know. Am I racist? You bet your ass I am. And so is everybody else on this planet. The old test. If there's a black man hanging off the wall facing certain death and a white man hanging off the wall facing certain death, and you can only save one of them and you're white, which one are you going to save? You know what the answer is. If you say anything else, you're lying. But if you're a brother and the same thing, who's he going to save? He'll save the brother. Because you always look out for your own first. That's the definition of racism. And that's not a bad thing. That's what's wired into every single person. That doesn't mean you hate blacks or hate whites. It just means you look out for what you are. If you're white, you're going to look out for the whites first. Same with animals. A dog, if the same, I mean, it's kind of weird because I don't know if you ever prove it, but if there was a cat and a dog hanging off that same roof, and the dog came around and said he can only save one, you think he's going to save the cat? Fuck no, he's going to save the dog. And if it were a cat instead, you think the cat's going to save the dog? He's going to save the cat. Because it's wired into us. It's part of our, that was the word for it. Oh shit, I can't think of the word now, but it's part of our survival instinct. You know, if we didn't have that survival instinct, we'd have died off a long time ago. It's not a bad thing to be racist, the way they're explaining it now it is, because they're making racism sound like, well, you hate somebody because they're a different race from you. That's not the true definition of racism. I wish I could find an old dictionary, like maybe 50 years old, where the true definitions are still in it. But it's hard to find those old books. But if any of you guys have them, look it up. They're changing the meaning of words. Gerald says, I don't hate anything. I may be pissed at something, but I try to remove hate from my life. Yeah, I try to too. I'm not very good at it. I do hate something. I hate crime. I hate pedophiles. I hate murderers. I hate rapists. You know, I want to kill them. I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are going to argue that with me, but that's just the way I feel. Do I hate blacks? No. Do I hate Mexicans? No. Do I hate the illegals that come here? You bet your ass I do, because they don't belong here. You know, if you want to come over here, you do it the right way. But if you're going to sneak through the fence and then come here and rape our women and steal our food and our object, our personal possession, whatever, we're going to have a problem, you know. So yes, I do hate certain things. But people not as a rule. I don't hate your color. I don't care about your color. You know, if you're a decent American, we'll get along just fine. If you're a criminal, well, maybe not. You know, that's just the way it works. Russ says most of Wikipedia is pure fiction these days. You bet your ass it is. I wouldn't go to Wikipedia for anything. Russ says, I will try to save both and probably get myself killed in the process. Yeah, well, you probably would, because like I said, it's a psychological test is what it is. I mean, that would never happen probably. But it's just to prove a point, you know, that if there was absolutely no way you could save both of them, and they were eating, one was black and one was white, or one was Mexican and one was white, any other race other than white, you're going to save the white person because you yourself are white. Unless, of course, you were married to him, then that would throw a different dynamic into it. But two strangers, you don't know either one of them. They're not your friends, they're not your enemies. But you can only save one. You're going to save the one that closely relates to you, which If you're white, it'll be a white guy. If you're black, it'll be the black guy. I don't have an issue with that, you know. I accept that as a reality. So if I was the white guy hanging off the building and a black guy was sitting, you know, hanging on next to me, and the brother comes up on the roof thinking, well, shit, I'm going to die. I would fully expect him to save the black guy, the brother. You know. And I'm okay with that. I accept that. Still suck. But, you know. Russ says, I hate the dust on my fingers after I eat Cheetos. Yeah, there you go. We all hate that. Russ, that is the best part. Yeah, kind of. Well, only if you don't like licking your fingers. Russ says, I know, Gerald, I just hate the cleanup. Yeah, that sucks. Gerald says, I eat it. Yeah, there you go. I haven't had Cheetos in forever. I love Cheetos, too, but really not supposed to eat them. I might buy a bag one of these days just for fun. But I could polish off a bag in one sitting without even trying. You know, that's just the way it is. But, so yeah, you know, like I said, there's certain aspects to life that it just is. And you can't argue with it. And it's not really right to try and change it either. You know, you can't change human nature. At least it's not a good idea. Everything that is built into us that we're wired for, in most cases, is correct. You know, everything that God placed in us is correct. Anything that man puts in us, probably not. Like I said, they're always trying to screw with things, you know. Like Bill Gates, you know, I can make a better meat in the laboratory than God can make with a cow. Well, bullshit on that, okay? I'm not eating any of his fucking fake meat. Not happening. You know, he likes it so much he can eat it. Bet you he won't eat it though. He'll be eating his filet mignon while the rest of us are eating chocolate-covered palmetto bugs or whatever. That's what he thinks anyway. Gerald Stewart, all bags are single-serving bag. Yes, they are, regardless of size. And this, he says, nope, only eating a cow in this house. You betcha. I won't eat nothing but the real thing, man. I'm not eating insects, and I ain't eating no damn lab meat. I saw that fake meat that, was it Beyond Meat in Publix the other day. I go, people actually buy this shit? And one of the workers that are doing the stock, he said, well, I haven't seen too much of it leave here. Well, I can't imagine why, you know. That's ridiculous. Hey, look, why do these people think that they can do better than our Creator can, you know? And I'm not being a religious zealot or anything. I'm just basic facts, you know. All across, they're perverting everything, you know. Oh, we can make corn that's resistant to the bugs or the weeds or whatever. So we'll throw some Roundup in there because, you know, it won't kill you. And most of your genetically modified foods, that's what's in there. It's Roundup. They lace it in somehow. They say it won't hurt you, but that's bullshit. I think if you ate GMO most of your life, you're just going to die, you know, from cancer, probably from the Roundup. We're not supposed to eat that shit. You know, I mean, this is not rocket science, people. You know, there's one thing you don't do. You don't screw with the food. Ever. And yet, that's exactly what they're doing. Yeah. They're talking they want to put the vaccine, the RMNA, into all the meat. Into the cows, the sheep, anything we eat, they want to inject with this vaccine. You know that ain't going to end well. You know? Oh, I know. Yeah, you're right, Curtis. Nobody will buy our food now. They said because we screw with it. You're safer eating foreign food than you are this. Probably food from China is probably technically better than what we eat here. Although I don't trust China either. Exactly, they're destroying the soil in the process. Years ago, I think I was 20-something at the time, 21, 22, I don't remember. I went to work for this place on the Mockley Road in Naples. they were some sort of scientific community. It paid good though. It paid like $20 an hour, which at that time was good money, you know. So I found out about it, went and applied for the job. I said, what exactly am I going to do here? Because they didn't really know, you know. They said, well, we just need you to bring in samples from, you know, about 20 acres out. I go, okay, that sounds easy enough. Well, you will have to wear a hazmat suit, and you will have to go through decontamination both in and out. And I'm thinking, what the hell are you playing with here, you know? And I did. I worked there for about 2 or 3 days, and I quit because I was kind of freaking out. It's like, you know, I had literally a full oxygen-fed suit, a hazmat suit, and I had to go through decontamination pod thing, and went out there, brought some samples back. I get decontaminated again, and then all the clothing was thrown away or was burnt. I think they burnt it. And then finally I said, you know, what are you playing with back there? What am I doing exactly? Well, we can't really tell you. I go, well, I can't really work here then because I'm not playing with anything that might endanger my life. And if I'm wearing an oxygen-fed hazmat suit, there's something out there I probably shouldn't be screwing with. Well, I didn't find out till later on that that was the beginnings of GMO. So, and the thing was, they weren't sure how safe it would be. So they weren't taking any chances. So I mean, I wasn't the only one working there. There were several of us, you know. Well, same deal. I had to go through decontamination each in and out, wear the oxygen-fed suits, you know. It was the damnedest thing, but I you know, I'm not doing this anymore because I want to know exactly what I'm playing with. Otherwise, I can't work here. So they said, well, you're free to quit. And I did. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. Gerald says, where'd it go here? It says, the people won't eat GMO. What makes you think they'll eat? Well, no, they won't because technically they won't because they know. Like I said, but if they mislabel it and make it look the same, you know, that Beyond Meat is plant-based. I don't know how you can turn a plant into meat, you know. I'm not going to find out. I'm not interested in it. I want real meat. But they probably can fool people to a certain point, or if it gets so bad you'll have nothing else, how many people will break down and eat it anyway? I won't, you know. I got my backyard chickens. I want meat, and chickens are dinner. I just have to learn to, you know, breed a lot of them and make sure I have plenty of meat for, you know, each meal. And it got eggs, of course, so you get, there's your protein. The rest is absolutely, Jim. They started adding GMOs to food around 1995, 96. That would have been about right. Look at how all the rates of these diseases have increased since then. Coincidence? No, of course not. Soy went green. They're on their way for that too, believe me. Next thing you know, we'll be eating the dead, you know. And you wouldn't know it. I mean, well, of course, if they come up with a green cracker, you could probably safely assume it's not. It's not good. What was that one guy in the movie said, Soylent Green is people. That's some fucked up stuff, man. But, no, you're absolutely right about the sicknesses. I mean, what is in GMO is actually they splice in Roundup. Because basically it prevents the weeds and other insects and stuff from attacking the plant. Which, on its face, seems like a great idea, but not really. All right, good night, Missy. Thanks for hanging out with us, and hope we didn't say anything offensive in front of you. Anyway, have a good weekend. And everybody remember the show Everybody Loves Raymond. His mother, Maria, made a tofu. Yeah, I remember that. Turkey for days one time. Oh, my God. I've never had tofu either, and I never will. I did have, what's that other stuff? Soy. When the guy who owned Wendy's, he died. Remember that back about 20 years ago or whatever it was? I swear to God, the next day, Wendy's started serving soy meat. Immediate difference in taste. And I actually went up and I said, you know, are you guys going to continue selling soy this is not a real burger. He says, well, it's not soy. I said, yes, it is. Well, how do you know? I said, I've had it in the hospital. That's what they serve in the hospital food. I said, this tastes exactly like it. It's not real meat. He says, well, we're under new ownership now because, the old man died. I think the daughter took over maybe, but Wendy or so. Anyway, that didn't last long because I said, well, I'm not eating here anymore until you go back to real meat. And I went back about 5 months later, and I said, you're using real meat? She said, oh yeah, the whole soy didn't go over real well, so we went back to meat. That was a few months back. I said, well, good. And I started eating there again. Yeah, Thomas. So, people are smart to some degree, but like I said, how hard would it really be to fool people nowadays? And if you're desperate enough, well, tofu is soy curd. It has very little taste. I don't know. I didn't like the soy. I've never had tofu. I mean, it doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound edible. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm a picky eater to begin with, There's a lot of things I don't eat because, I have a basic rule. If I can't identify it, I don't eat it. So, consequently, there's a lot of things I can't really readily identify, therefore I don't eat them, I mean, when I was a kid, we had to eat so many things with my mother. She used to throw everything on them. I've had artichokes and... Now, I didn't mind the liver because she did a good job on the liver, but they were just weird foods that she would make. Cabbage. I didn't like cabbage, I can't eat peas. They don't stay down. They come right back up, so I don't eat them. Artichokes are not much better. Same thing. There's a lot of vegetables I can't. If they're green vegetables, the only green vegetable I can't eat is string beans. It's the only thing I can eat. Everything else, nope, not happening. I like carrots, love carrots, but, I've had cauliflower. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite food. I haven't eaten it in a very long time, Peas suck. There's just something about it, something about the texture. I remember when I was a kid, I was about 7 or 8 years old. I don't remember the exact age, but I was real young. My mother served peas. She knew I couldn't eat them, And my mother was kind of a bitch that way. I mean, I love my mother, but she could be a real bitch sometimes. And she served me a big plate of peas. Well, I can't eat that. Well, you're going to eat them or you're going to go to bed hungry. I said, well, guess I'm going to bed hungry. She goes, no, you're going to sit there and eat them. I said, I cannot eat these. I can't hold them down. Well, try. So I took a fucking forkful right back up. I said, there's no point in me going through this. I'm just undigesting it as I put it down there, Well, they go to bed hungry. And then I went to bed hungry, because I would not eat them. She never fed them to me again. I think she figured out that I really couldn't eat them, Gerald, raw peas are yummy. You can have your peas, Gerald. Yeah, see, my dad would eat almost everything. Only a few dishes my mother made that would not eat. That's how weird it was. And my mother was an excellent cook. She could have been a chef, I guess, because she did a lot of this. But she liked making weird shit, And, then I got meat and potatoes guy, I eat simple foods, Give me a steak, any kind of meat I'll eat, pretty much. Even back then, I ate liver. But my mother made it in a way that not like, people don't know how to make it anymore. And I wouldn't eat it today because nobody knows how to make it properly. But basically any kind of meat I would eat. I've had gator tail, I've had deer meat, venison, I've had, cow meat, all the steaks. I love meat. Big meat eater, Vegetables, not so much. I always tell people I'm a non-vegetarian, They look at me like I'm weird. The rest of my parents did the same thing. I used milk to get them down. That wouldn't work. I didn't like milk either. And I had an actual, when I was a baby, they tried to, after I got through sucking the tit, they tried to give me milk because they didn't have formula at that point, I don't think. And I couldn't take the milk. I would throw it back up. When I was a baby, I don't remember it. But I've never really liked the milk. I've drank it here and there until I drank bad milk once. That was about 50 years ago, 40 years ago. I put bad milk in my hot tea, and I was sick the whole day. I was puking, and it was bad. I cannot go near milk now. There's just no way not happening. So, there was just something about the peas. I couldn't eat them, you know. I ate artichokes. I hated those things. And what was the other one that she liked? Brussels sprouts. I hated those too. I ate them. Didn't like it, you know. But that was the deal. I mean, back in those days, you know, it wasn't a restaurant. This is what I put on the table. This is what you'll eat. If you prefer not to eat, you will go to bed hungry. And trust me, I went to bed hungry quite a few times, you know. I didn't care because I felt it was better to go hungry than it would be to try and eat something I absolutely didn't like. So I never did that with my kids, you know. My ex-wife, you know, their mother, she tried to force them to eat things. And I find, look, you can't do this, you know. If they don't like it, they don't like it. I know what they feel. I went through the same thing as a kid. My mother tried to force me to eat things. I said, you know, if you can get them to try it, that's fine. But if they absolutely will not eat it, they don't like it, or they throw it up, just don't give it to them anymore. There's no point in it, you know. So she finally came around to my way of thinking, because she would eat anything too. But, you know. But I had to really stress that because she tried to do the same, I guess the way she was brought up too. This is what's on the table. You either eat it or you go hungry. You know, I didn't want my kids to go to bed hungry. You know, I didn't really, I wouldn't, I mean, I would make sure there was something on the plate that they could eat, you know. But if there was something on there they didn't like, I'd say, well, don't eat it if you don't like it. No big deal, you know. What's that there? Russ says, I love chocolate milk, can't have much anymore. Yeah, same here. I used to like chocolate milk too, but that was different. You remember the Nestle's Quick? Back in the day in the metal can? I love that stuff. They had the strawberry too, which was pretty good. Strawberry Quick. Great stuff. I didn't even try the Ovaltine. I think that wasn't too bad, but I think the Nestle's was better. Terry says, children can have 10 times the taste buds of an adult. It's not surprising they don't like more things. Really, I didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me, though, you know. That's another thing, too, you know. I've almost always had a dog, you know. And if the dog wouldn't eat it, that damn sure ain't going to eat it, you know. If the dog didn't want it, it couldn't be that good. Therefore, I'm not eating. Because dogs will eat anything, almost, you know. But I just accept that, you know, it is what it is, you know. Like I said, I'm kind of an oddball in some ways. You know, I don't know how to swim. I'm a picky eater, you know. But that's me, you know. I'm okay with it. And nobody else is. That's their problem, not mine. But I wouldn't force my kids to eat anything that they didn't like, you know. My youngest daughter did not like pasta. She would not eat it, you know, which is weird because we're all Italian, you know. And I said, well, you know, you don't want to eat it, it's your loss, you know. So, you know, my ex wouldn't make her pasta. I mean, you know, everybody else had pasta. I mean, there were always more things than one thing on the plate, but, you know, she would eat vegetables. She had more vegetables than she would anything else, which is fine. That was her thing. That's what she ate, you know. That dog and food is like the canary in the coal mine. Yeah, that's a good point, you know. That's very true, though, you know. And my wife made a few things that, you know, well, you know what, give it to the dog. They're going to give, the dog won't eat it either. I go, well, the dog won't eat it. Well, what the hell that dog's problem is? I said, well, obviously it isn't the dog and it ain't me, it's your cooking. You know, really pisses her off, but there's some truth to it. You know, if the dog won't eat it, what the hell? And Pogo will eat almost anything, you know. But there's a few things he absolutely will not eat. And of course, he won't eat any, he don't like eating out of anybody else's hand except mine, because, you know, he's my dog. He trusts me with the food. He doesn't really trust my wife with it, you know. Except for dog food. She pours the dog food, he'll eat that. But if she hands him table scraps, he won't eat it. Unless I hand it to him. Weird. Go figure, right? But, you know, it is what it is. So, anyway, it's getting kind of late. It's 10:40 now, I think it is. 10:39. Can't believe we did another marathon. Don't we do this every week, though? Yeah, people look at you, I don't know how you do it. How do you stay awake that long? It's not that hard. I'll go in and watch TV till probably 1 in the morning. Finally turn in, go to bed, wake up at 6, you know, or 7, unless I get real lucky. I mean, I don't really like waking up before 9 o'clock, but it's hard to do, you know. They say as you get older, you don't require that much sleep. There may be some truth to that. I don't know. Anyway, before we go, let's put up the live stream schedule. It's been somewhat accurate. Tomorrow, Friday at 8 o'clock, we should see Cousin Vinny. Hopefully. That's 8 o'clock Eastern time. Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning, we have Back on Track. Saturday at 8 o'clock in the afternoon, or evening, is Awesome America Artie. Derek, I used to be like that. I used to live on an hour of sleep, and no, I did not do drugs. I just didn't require a lot of sleep. And I'd be bright and bushy-tailed and ready. I did that for years. Sunday at 8 p.m., we have Sidetrack Sunday. On Monday, we have Off the Tracks Monday with James Gall and Trackside Mike. That's Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Also on Monday at 8 o'clock, we have Tom's Trains and Things on YouTube. And also on Rumble, both Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday, we have On Track Tuesday. I think it's Flying Crow is next. Tony was on this past week. You want to catch that at 7 p.m. And then afterwards, I believe, is Humanity Junction at 8 o'clock. And there's also something on after that that Heath does. I can't remember what it was. I wrote it down and I threw it away. And somebody remind me, I'll get it in there. And then Wednesday, we have Cab Crew Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And then also on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we have Workbench Wednesday on YouTube. And Tom's Trains of Thought on Rumble, both on at 8 o'clock simulcast. You'll have to make up your mind what you want to watch live and what you'll do the replay on. And then we have, of course, Morning Brew Thursday at 9 a.m. He was not on this morning. I believe he had to work. He's got some work conflicts going on there. I don't know if he'll be on next Thursday or not, but check and see if he is. That's 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, me at 6 o'clock in the evening, Shortline Thursday. So that's the list. Now you know. Russ says, I go to bed between 1 and 2 a.m. myself, up and at 'em around 8. Yeah, as I said, as you get older, they say you need less sleep, you know. My wife, she's even worse. She'll go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 5. Well, how the hell she does it, you know. She's not quite a year younger than me, but, you know. Of course, she complains she's always tired, so I don't know what's going on there. Now, we both sleep on a water bed, so I don't know. I bought a soft side water bed. I like it, but it's very picky about the right amount of water. And there's no scale for it, you know. It's trial and error. I've always had the hard side water bed. Slept like a baby on those. This is the first soft side I bought. I had an expensive mattress. I didn't like it. It was junk. It got a dip in it, probably from my fat ass. And they wouldn't warranty it or anything, so I said, you know what, never again. I paid $1,200 for that mattress. just the mattress, no box spring or frame or anything. Because what I did is I took the waterbed down, but left the base on and put the new mattress on the base, and it worked just fine. So, you know, but 3 months down the road, big dip. Can't flip them, you know. You can rotate them, but then my wife would have been in the hole. So we wound up having to scrap it. I said, you know, I'm just going to buy a soft side waterbed, screw this mattress crap, you know. It's a big rip off. And so I went back to the waterbed, but what I'm finding out is it's very difficult to get the water level right. If you put too much, it's too hard. If you put too little, it's too soft. Either way, it's going to mess up your back. There is a sweet spot somewhere there. I have not quite found it yet. Close, but not quite. So, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Rest of the thing is yeah. That's so, of course I don't work anymore either, which makes a difference. Can you? Oh yeah, you can still buy them. They're not really available locally, but there's 2 or 3 places on the internet. I think I bought one that was from Waterbeds and More or something like that, or the Waterbed Doctor. That's what it was. The Waterbed Doctor. It was online. They're not cheap. I paid, I think, close to $900 for mine. It's a king size. It's a. I got the single one. Yeah, it's a single semi-motionless. I didn't want a full motion, but I didn't want a no motion either, because the less motion involved, the more it cost, you know. What I probably should have done, they had one where you could put 2 separate bladders in there, so one for the wife and one for me. I should have went that route. It wouldn't have really cost any more, but instead I got one single. And it's a nice setup. Comes with a frame and everything, you know. It did come with a headboard. I bought a headboard for it later from Wayfair. But I like it. It's just, the problem is too with a waterbed is once you plan it, if you want to move it, you got to empty the damn thing because it weighs as much as a car when it's full of water, you know. And so you can't just, you know, my wife loves to move furniture, you know. She plays musical furniture all around. It drives me nuts. But she can't move that damn bed because she doesn't know how to empty it, for one. And she knows she'd be in trouble if she tried. But I would like to move it because I think we're on the wrong wall of the house, too. And that makes a lot of difference. I don't know if some people, they say humans sleep better east-west or west-east, but not north-south or south-north. I don't know. I've always slept east-west, except here. I'm sleeping north-south. So I think we're on the wrong wall. But I'm not so sure I can get her to go along with changing it. So, but it's still an all-day job to do it. Empty the bed, move it, refill it, you know. Curtis says, I like to sleep in until 12 or 1. There you go. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I would do it. I'd have to stay up a lot later because I get more done in the evenings than I do during the day, you know. Curtis says, I thought your wife was in her mid-40s. No, she's, I just turned 64. Yesterday was my birthday. And she will be 64 in June. Right? Yeah, June 22nd. Right? No. Shit, I don't remember. May 22nd. Yeah, May 22nd. She'll be 64. She's about 6 or 7 months behind me. She looks good for her age, though, doesn't she? So, you know. Of course, her mother's 82, and she doesn't look it either. So, I mean, you know. And pretty spry for an 82-year-old. But, I don't know if you met Ruth or not. She lives in the guest house next to my house. But she doesn't really look like she's 82. So, you know. Russ says, I had to sleep in a recliner for about 9 years. I can't sleep in a bed because of my back. That would suck. I can't really sleep. I used to sleep in recliners now, here and there. You know. Last time I was on the train, which was quite a few years ago, I took an Amtrak up to New Jersey. And I made the mistake of not getting a sleeper. I should have. I could not sleep in them fucking seats to save my life. You know, which is weird because I've slept in my car, I've slept in tents, I can sleep anywhere at one time, but now not so much. So, and that was before my stroke. Now it would be even tougher. I get on the ground, I can't get back up. Yeah, not easily anyway. Yeah, yes, she does. Oh, thanks, man. I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that. I'll relay that message. I've been lucky that way, though. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but all the women I've been, I was dating a woman 20 years older than me. Some years before I met Debbie, and she did not look any. She was 56, and I was what, 36? Yeah, 36, and she was 56, and you'd never know it. She didn't act like a 56-year-old. She damn sure didn't look. She looked like a 20-year-old. She had a beautiful body, you know. So, but then after we split up, she went. I mean, she literally aged like 40 years overnight. I don't know what the deal is with that, but, and even my ex-wife, you know, she was a good-looking woman. And then after we split up, she kind of went downhill. I don't know what happened. Yeah. And it's kind of been that way with quite a few of my ex-girlfriends and stuff. I don't know. Could be anything going on there. Tom Grassi said, I've always been able to sleep anywhere and still can. You're lucky. I said, I think if I didn't have the stroke, that wouldn't have been an issue. But like I said, I have slept in some of the worst places back in the day. But, you know, that was one of the reasons why I wanted a Cadillac when I was traveling, too. That car was so wide, and I was only 5'7". I could stretch out in the back seat and not touch either door. And, I mean, it was like being in a regular bed. It was beautiful, you know, but that's what I do. I drive for, you know, 15 hours or whatever. I take a break, jump in the back seat at the rest stop, take a little nap, and then boom, ready to rock and roll again. Yeah, maybe, Gerald, I don't know. I always wondered about that. That's kind of a weird deal, you know. I've never seen anything like that. I'm not exaggerating in the least, you know. You know, it's unfortunate because, I said, my ex-wife, she was a pretty woman. I mean, she wasn't a beauty queen, but she was a good-looking lady, and she was while we were together, and then after we split up, she just, well, I don't know, she just went to hell, man. I don't know. She's aged. She's a year older than me, and she looks like she's about 70-something. She really does, you know. I don't know. Maybe I did use them up. I'm telling you, know. I'm not going to touch that one. It's just kind of weird, though, you know, because there's, unfortunately, a very certain amount of truth to it, you know. I don't know. Anyway, it's almost 11 o'clock, so let me unplug some stuff here. Let's see what else am I doing here. I'm going to have a clue here. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out, and as usual, have a good weekend. Be safe, have fun, play with your trades. I know I will. And that's Swirly time. I'm no Swirly smoke. Sorry about it. I have to change my outro and get some Swirly smoke in there somehow. But I don't want to use the same one as Tom, so I have to find another one. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Good night to everybody. Here's the outro, and we'll see you again next week.